I have
There we go.
some, excuse me, which one is it? This one is the Jelly Bean Black Cherry. You can't really see it. Or is this one? Yep. I'm sorry. It's one of these two. It's the one that's a little bit pinker. It's hard to see it out in the bright light now. It's a.
Wow.
Well, first of all, I want to just say I'm just happy to be on the line with all you guys. I've been hearing a lot about you, Jill, and also Rasta Jeff and everybody else online. I've Jinxproof. I'm just seriously, I'm just feeling a little bit like, wow, I'm pretty honored to be on breeders panel with you guys. It's just to me, it's a little bit surreal. Every once in a while, something cool like that happens where you get to meet some really influential people and you get to be part of something freaking cool. And to me, that's this right now. To me, this is a full-on life experience. I'm enjoying, like, wow, dude, I get to talk to some of my peers that I've never talked to, that are totally super popular, that are totally like doing it right, that know what the hell they're doing. I mean, to me, it's just like a fucking dream come true. So I'm smoking some fucking chronic right now with you guys. I'm loving life, dude. I just want to say thank you guys for making the time, because I know we're all pretty damn busy, you know?
Well, thank you. We're getting ready to do introductions. So how about you introduce yourself first and tell them who's speaking to them with all these nice words.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, very good. My name's John, or JR. They know me as Old School Chronic. I've just been fascinated with this world, man. I've been in love with this world. I just love the people, the community. I've been doing, a little bit of breeding, I guess, since, I'm 47 now. I've probably been doing this since I was, 14 years old. And it's just been a freaking total incredible experience. I finally just got really into the heavy breeding part of things and really caring about what I'm creating and really caring about what the tastes like, really caring that whatever gets out of my hands is epic, and if it comes with my stamp, then I want to know that it's freaking something that people totally would respect and go, damn, I'm proud to have that in my garden. So it's just that whole experience, of being able to be a true chef, an artist, being able to put your heart and soul into something, thinking about it, making mistakes, going through that whole process. And that's who I am right now. I'm just I'm the newbie. I'm the new kid on the block here with you guys. And honestly,
what are your social medias? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Old School Chronic _live. And I also have a website now, which is oldschoolchronic.com. And so again, guys, I'm kind of the new kid on the block here, but I do have a pretty incredible following. My followers are really super loyal. Mainly it's because of what we do here, the breeding part of this. I try in my personal best to make sure that everything's tested, make sure that people can follow me through a full-on like pheno hunt. I try to show a lot of pictures. I try to show videos. I try to capture people's attention. I try to really show them that they can trust, me as a breeder for them, because I find that a lot of people out there, especially the consumer, is just so sick and tired of just the average breeder. They're so sick and tired of smoking the average, stuff out there. They're so sick and tired of just getting a bunch of seeds that don't really do much for them, or maybe it was promised to be a certain smell or certain flavor, and it comes out totally different. It wasn't really a worked line. So right. I'm finding that the real breeders, the respected breeders, are very few and far between, and they're very valuable to this community.
Well, let me introduce all these guys so we can get into a conversation real quick.
Sorry, guys. Get me going, man. That's what happens.
We got to get everybody else the chance to talk, and then we'll get into a discourse here, I'm sure.
No worries.
Rasta Jeff, you're eager to talk. I see you grabbing your mic. Welcome to the show, man. Irie Genetics.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Introduce yourself and give everyone your socials.
Social security is, no, just kidding. They call me Rasta Jeff. I am Irie Genetic Seeds. I am also the host of the Grow From Your Heart podcast. You can find me on Instagram. It's Irie_genetics. The website is iriegenetics.com. The podcast is the Grow From Your Heart podcast. It is found where all of the respectable podcasts are kept. Wherever you're watching this, you can find my show. I'm excited to be here with a bunch of my peers. I'm ready to get this going.
I love that. Where all the respectable podcasts are kept. Very
they let me be there too. They let me play there as well.
Nice. Welcome to the show, man. Always awesome to be on with you.
Always.
Let's get one in from the Caribou crew. Prophet, what's up there? Where can everyone find you, man?
I'm just basically on Cannabis on the Profit, and you can pretty much find me.
You'll be in.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm just hanging on Cannabis and on Cariboo Hart TV. I try not to spread myself too far thin or my legs too wide open. You know, I'm not
Well,
lying.
you know, whatever. Welcome, Prophet. Always be good to be on with you.
Yeah, man. Glad you here. Sequence 6 would help.
Bees, you want to introduce yourself? Bees is from the Caribou
Sure,
Hart.
I do. Yep, I'm a resident Dick and Fart Joke, and you can find me on Cannabis, Beelzebub, or on Instagram at bees_lebub. I have one question, because to start off,
That's not how introductions go.
Yeah, that's all right. It's quick. Every time Rasta Jeff says, they call me Rasta Jeff. So, are you in fact Rastafarian?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Do follow
Well,
Rastafari.
Then they are calling you correct. Right on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
Respect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Continue. Go on.
He had to make sure you had the right cred.
Dude,
Right.
It's just been itching at my insides.
It's 2021. I identify as Unicorn Jeff now. I'm now a
Amazing.
unicorn.
I ride a unicorn every year for my birthday, so
Nice.
take that as
Dude.
you will.
Right on.
That's awesome. I actually identify as Darkwind Duck.
There we go. But if you're gonna be a duck, why not be the rich one?
Well,
Scrooge
no,
McDuck,
because
though.
I am the terror that flaps in the night, man.
There
All
we
right,
go.
before we get too far off this
Darkly.
thing, let me introduce the
Derailed it.
folks here.
Derailed it all.
Chad Westport, welcome, man. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, man. Really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on. I am Chad.Westport on Instagram. I do the Perfectly Imperfect Grow Show on the Future Cannabis Project 2 channel every
nice.
first and third Saturdays. And my big thing there is I focus on home grow, on tent growers. I want to get information out to kind of the people that I think have been a little neglected as the industry has grown. And that also includes some things about genetics, because genetics are very important. So I have been playing around myself for many, many years, and it's fun little passion projects that I have. So thank you for having me here, guys.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Up next, another big name breeder, Miss Jill. Welcome to the show. Always nice to have you.
Hi.
Thank
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, one of the big female voices in cannabis, I think. So it's always good to have one on a panel. Where can everyone find you and introduce yourself?
Well, hi. My name is Ms. Jill. I created the Jilly Bean and Agent Orange, co-owner of TGA Genetics, co-creator. Wife of deceased Subcool, well-known breeder in the industry. Together we had the first U.S. seed company. And so now I'm just kind of carrying on with some of our old strains that we had created together, as well as a completely new line of that I've created since then. We had a fire back in 2017, and that's when I've kind of reinvented my cannabis lines. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. We could. I'm generally on Instagram. I have been on Facebook in the past. I'm planning on going back on there, but for right now, you can find me on Instagram, and I also have a website. It is just msjill.com, mzjill.com, or Ms. Jill Genetics, or tgagenetics.com.
There you go. Well done. Thank you for joining us, Miss Jill. I rock a cross of your Jilly Bean, and I really enjoy it. It's not Jilly Bean itself, of course, but
Fabulous.
it's cool.
Well,
all
on
the
that
same.
note, I have recently just created an entire line of Jilly Bean. I have a Jilly Bean Black Cherry, Jilly Bean Cherry, Jilly Bean Bubblegum, Jilly Bean Grape, Jilly Bean Lime. I also have a Joker's Wild. It's a cross of G13 and Jilly Bean. And right now in testing, I have an entire line of feminized, which would be all of those, as well as Jilly Bean S1.
I'm starting to see a pattern.
Awesome. Well, I want to ask some questions about Jilly Bean later, because of course it's a big deal strain, but we'll get onto that in a moment. Let's see. Caribou, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I could do that. Most of y'all know me. You see me right here on this channel 3 times a week doing our usual dick and fart jokes with a little bit of cannabis knowledge thrown in there from time to time. And you can also find me on Cannabis and Instagram. I believe it's Cariboo Hart Organics on both of those platforms. And really excited for this show tonight. Before we get going, I just wanted to say it's my mom's birthday tonight. Or today, I guess. So, like could we show her some love in our traditional boofer fashion, and light her name up. Let's say, we love you, mom, or happy birthday, mom, in the chat or whatever. Because I guarantee you, she's not watching this, but at some point in time, I'll go back and re-show her the thing of it. See, mom, all these people don't even know you, and they got love for you. So,
Happy birthday, mom.
And then another quick before I get off, I want to actually kind of dedicate this show to Stoney Rockefeller. It was him that put all of this together. We were planning on doing a similar formatted show at some point in time down the road. And then he just had a fire lit under his ass, and then he started getting a hold of people, and he was just like, okay, let's do this now. So to everybody that's watching, you got Stoney Rockefeller to thank for this, as well as thank you for everybody on the panel that decided to join us, everybody in chat. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks, Caribou. Appreciate it. Hypathetical, you're up next. Where can everyone find you, man?
Hey everybody, Hypathetical Gardener on Cannabis. And of course I'm here. I try to make it every Sunday and Friday to the Cariboo Proof show, or the Cariboo Hart TV. And other than that, I'm on Cannabis. One day I will get around to actually upkeeping an Instagram. But for now, it's all that one place.
Sweet, man. Thank you. And then last but not least, of course, Jinxproof. Jinx, welcome, man. It's an honor to talk to you again. I met you at a cup a long time ago, but you probably don't recognize my face.
I do, actually. Thank brother. I'm glad to be here. So I'm Jinxproof Genetics. I can be found on Instagram at _Jinxproof. The underscore is important because there's Jinxproof beer, there's Jinxproof tattoo. There's apparently all kind of Jinxproof. So I am also on Cannabis. Believe it's just straight Jinxproof. I have my website is jinxproofstankbank.com. There's an S on the end of Jinxproof, jinxproofstankbank.com. And I've been breeding about 10 years now. And I bred a long time ago just for fun. And then when I actually got into the game, it was with Miss Jill there. So that's where I kind of got started with Miss Jill and Subcool. And we all kind of rolled together and did our thing. So shout out to Jill. How you doing, sis?
Hey there, how you doing?
Good.
Nice to see your face.
Yeah, you too, sweetheart. And shout out to Ross and Jeff too. We've become friends just basically by going shows and meeting each other and stuff like that. So we've kind of slowly but surely becoming friends too. So
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, you too, bro.
So. Yeah, you're another one I've heard from a while back, Jinxproof. So it's real exciting to meet you too.
Yeah,
some people from the classics. That's awesome.
Are you a juggalo?
No.
That's so funny.
He's hiding it pretty well while he's sitting.
That is so funny.
No
Before we
judgment.
go any further, everyone in the chat, go ahead and flip over from top chat to live chat because you want to have the best experience with these beautiful people.
Yeah, I just want to say too, I owe a lot to all of you guys up here, and Jinxproof, Miss Jill. I'm in Washington, and I've been a med patient for a long time. So 2010, 2012 was really when I was able to pick up some of my first pro genetics, and it was a lot of your guys' works. And I know you guys worked hard to get it into the state of Washington, so I appreciate that. So I appreciate that effort. Made a difference.
That's actually how Jill and I met. Was I became her and Sub's state rep for Washington. So always kind of a funny story.
Thank you. I still have a couple of your go time testers.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So
And some newer stuff. Some newer stuff too.
If you ever want to embarrass Miss Rose, like you're at a show or something, come up to her and ask her why it's called go time.
Mental note.
She gets all embarrassed. Like, quit telling people to say
I like that. That's funny as hell.
It's clear. Yes.
You guys have a great relationship. It's funny to watch you shoot straw papers at her for like years. Years have been following him, and he's just been shooting these papers at her.
And
The ninja
scaring her.
challenge.
I'm so grateful to have Jinx and
Thanks,
Miss
Jill.
Rose. We can't forget Miss Rose.
We all are. We
I
all
will
are grateful.
say, yeah, while we're on the topic, Jinx, do you want to share some of the stuff you do with the community? You have like one of the best personalities as far as the be positive, all of the stuff you're supporting and all this. It's all a big deal. And I, of course, can't remember it all, especially as well as you can. So if you
Sure.
want to get the voice out on some of that stuff.
Sure. I mean, I'm down for any worthy cause, but my passions obviously are the be positive thing. I do video every morning and every night, trying to encourage people to be positive, sort of affirmate themselves, if you will. I didn't realize how many it had been, but I know the first day I did one because I did it after the first time I had a seizure. And every couple of years that comes up on Facebook, 5 years ago today, 9 years ago today. So we added it up recently, and it's been over 20,000 of those videos. So it's pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's something I have to do now. If I don't put one up by 9:30, people start DMing Miss Rose. Is Jinx okay? My other biggest passion, of course, is autism, not just awareness, but helping autism kids. You know what I mean? We provide iPads with a text to talk app. It's all pictures, and the kids can type those pictures, and then the computer will say what those pictures represent. Like it can have a picture of a cheeseburger, or even a picture of somebody like Auntie Jill. I want to see Auntie Jill, or something like that. That's we'll help any kid, really. We've helped kids that aren't on the spectrum also, but autism is the thing we run under. The first time we did a really big thing was actually with Jill and Sub, and we did the School of Dank. And basically, if you bought a ticket here in Seattle, you come to the show, and for 2 days, Sub pretty much taught you just about everything he knew about growing. And then, of course, we would have other growers like Ms. Jill and Odie and Dioxide and some of the other crew and stuff like that. And it was like a school/party, and it was a really good thing. And we raised a substantial amount of money each time. It was really cool. I always be super fond of those memories, especially when I think about Sub. So, and then my third one is the 20 Too Many, which is the campaign to help soldiers not commit suicide. So we've done a show or two for that, and we try to raise money. I'm a retired tattooist, so we did a show called Tat 20 Too Many. And my buddy Sarge and Lacey Tiki Tattoo, and if you came in that day and donated $50 to 20 Too Many, you got a free tattoo. Like what we call a pork chop, just a little guy, nothing crazy. If you didn't want a tattoo, then a soldier got tattooed that day for free, and it was a good deal. We raised $1,800 in 5 hours or something like that. So, I love being part of stuff that's helping people, because it helps you too. The way you feel about yourself and the energy you're putting out there. So.
Well, I think that's a big reason that a lot of breeders start breeding seeds in the first place, right? Is to help people with medicine and bring them, overgrow the world, all the different mentalities that everyone has had that have pushed through the community. And you just kind of further resonate that through all of your other projects. I think that's amazing.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I love how you abolished the stoner persona, man. That's an amazing amount of work you've been doing.
Oh, thanks, brother. I mean, whoop, whoop.
All right, my second thing is for Rasta Jeff. I don't know if I'm going to ask all the questions, but I'll ask some questions until people get comfortable. My favorite thing about, well, not my favorite thing necessarily, but a big favorite thing about your show and yourself is your terpene descriptions for strains, concentrates, etc. So what do you have around? What did you just dab, and what did it taste like?
I didn't hit it because I knew I was going to have to talk soon. So what I've got in front of me is some, it's TK91. The package says it's a cross of Kim 91 and Triangle Kush. When I open it up, I get sort of a soft gassy thing, but then there's like an oatmeal cookie, but then there's that rubber tennis ball sort of thing that comes out of that. A lot of the cushy stuff hits me with kind of a fresh rubber tennis balls or new shoes out of the box sort of a smell. So this one has a lot of that rubber to it. The flowers I'm smoking have it's almost when Platinum OG gets that sweetness to it, it's got the sweetness to it. So it's cushy. I don't know what the flowers are. It was a gift. So I'm just kind of smoking unknown flower here, but it's got a sweetness to it, gassy and sweetness to it. So yeah, my nose is a little bit crazy. People always try to challenge me and pass me their flower and try to get me to tell them what it is and what it smells like. It's just fun to me.
Yeah, you really paint a picture sometimes. It's
That's part of
amazing.
my job as a breeder. If I've got to tell you what it tastes and smells like, and I just do it by I've eaten a lot of stuff, and I think that my flavor memory is really strong. And so when I smoke something, I smell it right away. Like, oh, that smells like that basement in that one house, or that smells like those cookies the grandma made that one time, or just triggers things really quickly to me. I can't remember where I left my car keys, but I could tell you what everything smells and tastes like.
So
I think that's really interesting.
You started with tennis ball, and then you said, I eat a lot of stuff. So I instantly pictured you eating a tennis ball.
That's a good point.
I clearly do not recommend.
No, don't do that. Just crack open that jar and smell it and then put it back.
There you go.
Throw
There
it
you
for the
go.
dog.
He was going to list off a whole bunch of things. But
Yeah. Gassy
Brings
tennis
it-
balls.
Brings it to munchies to a whole new level, I suppose.
Right? When you're desperate.
So Miss Joe, would you like an opportunity to speak about Jilly Bean a little bit? A little bit of a legendary strain, give you a little bit of a moment. What is Jilly Bean's lineage? What is the genetics that went into making it?
Jilly Bean is Orange Velvet, which is an orange skunk that had previously been gifted to me by a couple. Her name was Luann. She had MS. My ex-husband prior to Sub, we had been helping them. I had been helping her with getting everything set up, and my husband was helping them with their garden setup, and I was helping with their helping her learn to make some edibles and different things like that. We're sharing clones with them, just making sure they had some meds. And she had this clone had come to her, reportedly 25 years old, from Falls City, Oregon area, and it was called Melvin. So we took the clone home and we grew it out, and it was beautiful, turned just amazing, beautiful colors. It started in kind of a burgundy-ish type hue, and went all the way into a black, like completely black. And just had the most amazing orange smell. It started, I would say, probably about three weeks or so in, 3 to 4 weeks into flower. You walk into the room, at first it's kind of off-putting. It smells like an electrical fire. I started looking around the room, and I've still done it in the past. I've forgotten about it. I forget it's in there flowering, and I walk in one day, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is that?
That'd be pretty off-putting.
My fans, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the orange velvet. And as time goes on, that smell starts to fade, and it becomes more of just a real strong orange skunk. But that's the mother of the Jilly Bean, and the dad is Space Dude, which is a Space Queen F2. I'm sorry, a Space Queen F1 that Sub and I had grown. It was from Vic High, pack of seeds from Vic High. And Space Queen, the Space Queen male Space Dude, has been used in a large number of TGA's original crosses. And he has been a really sought after male for many years. And he's a very, very wonderful orange. A very wonderful cherry. And the thing I really like about him is he kind of just allows the female to remain what she is, the offspring. So you get a lot of the female, but you get a lot of resin production and a lot of cherry flavor on top of that. He does definitely help improve the structure of the plant some, but I think he's been a good male, and he's been used, in a lot of crosses, and they've turned out wonderfully. Seems to provide good medicine. Anyways, the Jilly Bean, it was my first creation as a breeder, and she has proved to be absolutely amazing for PTSD. The veterans love her because they can smoke it, and they don't get so high that they have anxiety or
Do you remember how you made the Jilly Bean? How many seeds you popped of the original cross to select to make it, just to pick?
Of the Jilly Bean. Well, she's a cross of Orange Velvet, which was clone only, and
Right.
the Space Dude, which is just a clone only. It's just the two of those together, and that's the Jilly Bean. And you can get a variety of phenotypes, some leaning more towards Orange Velvet, obviously, and some leaning more towards the Space Queen. The most favorite strain phenotype that people have really, looked for through all of the packs for years, it was called Candy Store. And it tasted like if you reached into a jar in an old-fashioned candy store, you reach into a jar and you just pop a handful of sour candies into your mouth, and just a a variety of flavors, and that's what you get with Jelly Bean. Like I said, you have the Orange Velvet Mother, and you have the Space Queen, which is a cherry. So you have a range of cherry, mangoes, orange, and it's just like a tropical punch, I would say. And even maybe going into a dreamsicle. I had one lady describe it as like the pleasure of eating a dreamsicle on a hot summer day, out in the sunshine. Kind of a taste of sunshine. And so anyways, she's also has been proven to be amazing for women for PMS type symptoms and endometriosis pain. She's amazing with, just calming those symptoms down. And she does definitely help with increasing appetite and uplifting, cheerful, happy, all around really great strain.
Yeah, I know it's been crossed into a lot of different things. I'm growing an orange kush cake from Ethos that has that in there, the Jelly Bean. There's a bunch of other things crossed in there too, but
nice.
I've grown it. I've bred it. Bred with it, not bred it, but bred to it. It's a great plant. I think I posted some quality pictures of it at one point.
You did. I love those photos you had with the buds and the jelly beans.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, thanks for the repost, by the way. That's pretty cool of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jinxproof. I've grown your 9-pound hammer, which is, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's your most popular strain, but it's the one that everybody seems to talk about. Would you like to share the story for the 9-pound?
Yeah, it's to this day, it's still my most popular strain. It's just something about it. But years and years and years ago, before I even knew of seed companies, stuff like that, once in a while you'd see like an ad in High Times magazine. I mean, we're talking, I'm 53, we're talking a long time ago. But there was a little article, and me and my friend Brent, we grew weed together, and we decided to pollinate a plant. And we did that thing where you just do one little bud, so we took the it was called blackberry. They didn't call it blackberry kush back then. Like, I'd never even heard the word kush back then, to tell you the truth. It was a newer thing to the newer generations. But it definitely was a short, fat leaves. And we took an afgui plant, and we pollinated it. And then instead of doing the paintbrush thing, we just dumped a little pollen inside like a sandwich baggie, wrapped it around a bud, and kind of flicked it around a little bit and pulled it out. And, it did pretty good. It definitely infested some of the other buds, but nothing crazy, considering we had no idea what we were doing and how rapid, like the teeniest bit of pollen can, seed out your whole room, So we did that, and it was just something personal we did. And then, like maybe 20 years later or something, I met Sub in jail, and I became Sub's Washington State distributor. And a way of and then I was really grooving on the seed thing. Me, Jill, and Sub became pretty good friends pretty fast, and so I decided I was gonna do a breeding myself. The price of weed was dumping in Seattle because of all the co-ops opening and stuff like that. So I figured, well, I'm gonna have a little fun. It wasn't what I did for money anymore. And so when I would go on TGA sales, I would sell Sub seeds to all the local dispos, which it was medical back then, not recreational. So you could do just about anything. There wasn't all these laws. And so what I would do is when somebody bought a decent batch, I would leave a pile of 9-pound hammer. And if you bought a pack, then you got a pack of free 9-pound hammer. Like if you bought, say, some Jelly Bean or something like that, then you got a free pack of 9-pound hammer, because I didn't know what to do with these seeds. I just did it for fun. And so a few months later, because of that, it started to blow up on the internet. All of a sudden people are like, what's this 9-pound hammer? And where's, who's this dude, hanging out with Sub and Jill? So people were kind of like, what's going on here? And then me and Sub talked, and he's like, I don't, before he told me I don't distribute other people's seeds, that's not my bag. But then after, like, say, people kept hitting him up because they thought it was his strain, because it was in the box with all the TGA seeds. So one day he called me, he said, let's do this. And I created my own label, packed it up, and he became my distributor, so to speak. So, I would send him all my seeds, and he would send me his. We just had this deal going. And like I said, we became really good friends throughout the whole process. And it's kind of funny story. One thing that started me and Sub off on a good note, on a trusting relationship, was I sent him the money for my first order of seeds. And it wasn't cheap. It took almost my whole crop to do it, and I was by no means did I have a lot of money back then, and or now, but so I sent him 10 G's, that was your buy-in to become a distributor. And they never showed up. A couple weeks, I'm like, bro, they never showed up. And he's like, well, I believe you. I'm going to send you a new box. So he does. I go out to the mailbox, and the mailman had stuffed them in the mailbox because the corners of the box, I couldn't get them out. I literally had to take a hammer and open the side of the mailbox to get the seeds out. And so I got them, and I know, right? Could have just put it on my porch. So I got them, and I called them. And then about 3 days later, my neighbor comes over and is like, hey, man, I got this package addressed to your address. So then I called Sub, and I was like, hey, man, I got the original order, and I mean, it was already over. I totally could have kept those seeds and, just did my thing and whatever. So because of that, he's like, man, I really appreciate that. And, kind of instantly right away built a trust between us. Cause like I said, it was a lot of money, for both of us, so it was just kind of funny how that happened. And, just kept
That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And if you got a second, my favorite story is how I met Subcool. And I went, my friend brought a pamphlet over. I didn't know a lot of seed breeders. I wasn't an internet guy and all this stuff. So my friend brought over a pamphlet, and it had black cherry and plushberry. And the pictures were just this pink bud. I was like, oh my God, pink bud, I got to get this. So I went to his website, and it said available in Washington. So I started calling all the stores, and not one store in Washington had a pack of his seeds. So finally I find one store, and it's in Tacoma, which is, I'm in Seattle. I'm on the outs of Seattle. It's a drive for me. So I drive all day out to Tacoma. I get there. They've got one pack of seeds, and it's kaboom. Not to be disrespectful or anything, but of anything on the menu, that's the one I wanted the least. But I bought it kind of begrudgingly because I spent all this time. Then I got stuck in rush hour traffic on the way home. I was like, man, I've been out here 6, 7, 8 hours buying a pack of seeds I didn't want. This huge seed dude who has a worldwide website saying he's got seeds in Seattle. I was pretty aggravated. So when I got home, I sent him an email. I basically wrote my story, what had happened that day. And at the end of the letter, I said, if you ever want a real state rep, let me know. Because apparently he had a state rep, which he did not. So I said, you want a real state rep, let me know. And he calls me like 3 minutes later, which I didn't expect to ever hear from him. Bring. And it's, hey, dude, it's Subcool. Whenever he's excited, his twang comes out. Says, hey, dude, it's Subcool. And then he starts talking. He says, do you know how many emails I get every day? And I said, I can only imagine. He's like, you can't. And he's like, but the title of your email said Subcool sucks in Seattle. He's like, I had to open that damn email. I wasn't saying he sucked. I said sucks in Seattle, because it was, not here. So we kind of hit it off on the phone. We talked about being a distributor, and yeah, that's how we met. It was pretty funny. I wrote him a letter telling me he sucked.
That is pretty funny.
I've always enjoyed that story. Then I met his crazy ass wife and the rest,
How many of you guys
Actually,
are emails now that say you suck?
It's kind of funny. Me and Jill are actually a lot alike. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, very much. He's nicer.
Yeah. So, and yeah, that was the beginning of the Subcool Jinxproof tale, so to speak. So
that's really cool. Thank you for sharing the stories. That's some old school OG legend stuff, man.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it is.
You guys paved the way for me. Like, you guys showed me what to do. Like, you didn't come here and show me, but I mean, I watched folks like you and Sub and a bunch of other people out there. They taught me how to do it. So yeah, big respect.
And Jeff, you're doing it right, because I remember the first time we met at a show in Colorado, and you were cool. A lot of I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but a lot of seed breeders are kind of rock stars, and they're not cool, or they're really not cool to other breeders, and they kind of got their head back, kind of looking, like, which was, with my
You're
opinion,
all competition.
It
Right.
sounds like the
I think
tattoo
we
world to me.
make better allies than enemies. How I
That's
put it.
it.
So, you
Well,
know,
first off,
like I say-
thank you, brother. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
thank you.
remember-
But we're on the same team, dude. We're
Yeah,
all
exactly.
we're all
Yeah.
Green Avengers. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not even Team Green Avengers, but we're all Team Green Avengers out here. We're all
Yeah.
fighting for the same plant. We
Yes,
all
you
want
are.
to
Yeah.
legalize. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jill. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No, you've always been a cool guy, and I always appreciated that.
I appreciate that,
So-
brother. Big
So-
respect. When Jinx approves, then you've made it. I can quit now. Jinx approves. I'm done. Bye, guys.
Jinx is a pretty cool guy.
Hey, Rasta,
Yeah.
Rasta, Yemov said he motherfucking loves you, man.
But I motherfucking love you too, whoever that is.
Ye motherfucking huh?
Oh, ye motherfucking huh? I know who that is. What's up, bro?
Yeah.
Big love, big respect. Irie Army, for sure.
He's a great dude. I can't wait to have him back on our usual podcast again. I was just talking to him about that. I think that was earlier today or last night. He's cool shit.
Hey guys, just a quick question. My name's John or JR for Old School Chronic, and I'm just kind of curious. You know, as breeders, where are you guys seeing trends go right now? Are you seeing the trends for the smells and tastes for cannabis going in a fruity kind of way, or are you seeing coming back into more of a gassy chemical way, or are you seeing any trends right now, guys? Are you working on any special new trends of flavors? And are you and what are the trends now do you see?
I personally try to steer away from trends. You know what I mean? I'd like to keep it a little more on the unique side. I'm so glad that we're finally seem to be past the baked goods thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When cookies came out, it was angel food cake. It was everything was a baked good all of a sudden. I'm not hating, don't get me wrong.
You like hard
I'll-
candy better, I take it?
right now, the word that seems to be tossed around right now is fruit forward. You know, that seems to be the trendy new word right now is fruit forward. And
A lot of
you
fruit.
know, I actually I love fruity strains myself. You know, personally, that would be my preference. Jelly bean would definitely be one of them. Probably, I think the first TJ strain I ever grew, but I definitely like that more. And like I said, I'm kind of anti-popular, I guess you could say. Like I don't, you know, I'd rather not follow trends. Just do your thing and see what happens. And
That's why
or
some of
even
the
setting
breeders.
them.
That's why the breeders here are successful at doing what we're doing, because we're not following the trends. We're setting the trends, bro. We're not
Yeah.
making more of the same shit that's already out there that everybody else already did. We're doing our stuff.
Yeah.
Jill's got her breeding plants. You've got yours. I've got mine, and they're nothing like all that trendy stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why we're doing it. We're putting some
Yeah.
heart and soul into
Very
it instead
true.
of, yeah,
No, you can follow or you can make your own line. You know?
that's right.
I mean,
Try to keep up.
I've listened to Grow From Your Heart for, I don't know, 2-3 years, and I'm all caught up. But something that it kind of instilled in me as a breeder was the growing from your heart. When I started breeding, I was breeding for me. I took a strain over here that worked for me and a strain over here that worked for me, and I made something that was perfect medicine for me.
Perfect.
And then I had extras. And
There you
after
go.
going it out a few times and seeing, hey, this is legit, it works, it's great. You know, I get about 3 phenos off of these F1s. Perfect. It's what I wanted. Here's what you can get. You want it? Yeah, come get it.
There you go. Yeah.
And you know, it's exactly that. I test it. What works for me is what I offer out.
And that's,
you know, if I make
I'm
it
just
better,
doing my art as well. And then do you get to see those seeds that you share with your friends? You get to watch them grow, and just through their growing experience, they nurture themselves better because they learn taking care of a plant, feeding it good, hydrating it, adjusting its pH. Maybe I've got a pH, and maybe I need nutrients too. I never thought of that. And then they harvest it and they smoke it and they feel better after they smoke it. And you're like, oh, I was a big part of what they just did. I mean, they did the work, but you literally gave them the seed to make themselves feel better and nourish themselves. That's what it's all about. That's why I've been in the dispensary scene. I've been in the breeding scene. I get to see full circle what we can do for the patients and for the people. And it feels so good. Feels so good. Keep doing what you're doing, bro, because you're doing it right as well. You're right in our footsteps. So keep going.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, brother. Every day. Thanks for listening, by the way, too. That's a lot of clicks.
So you would say that you breed for more of like what you're into or what you like rather than what you think that the market's going to like?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
what,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. I have kind of purposefully fallen out of the cannabis loop. On these podcasts is where I learn about what's going on with weed. I don't read magazines. I don't do other stuff like that. I don't want to contaminate myself. If I were a comedian, I wouldn't listen to other comics because I don't want to sound like them. I don't want to follow too many trends in breeding. I'm just doing my thing with what I love, with my ideas, plants to get my attention. Of course, I did cross to Jack the Ripper. I had to do that for Subby. Subby is without Sub, I wouldn't be this far. I probably wouldn't be anywhere. So I had to do the Jack the Ripper cross. But for the most part, I just do, it's just like painting or making music. I say that we're all a bunch of musicians and we do our style, we do our thing. And if I were to try to do something different that wasn't my style, it would not come out right. So I just do my thing the best I know how.
And I think a lot of it is purpose-driven breeding too.
Yes.
You know, we may be working on something, you know, in particular to help with PTSD or to help sleep at night. And we don't know whether that's going to have a fruity terp or a gassy terp. It's really purpose-driven and the trial and error from that. So I don't know. I always kind of joke like I'm either ahead of the trends or I'm behind the trends. It just, I tend to go in the opposite direction of whatever's on the current market. And the current market's going to be different everywhere in the country too.
Everywhere.
I mean,
and trends come and go,
yeah.
bro. The things that aren't
Yeah.
trendy stick around. So you're doing it right.
Yep.
Trends come and go.
If you rock bell bottoms for long enough,
That's it.
Yeah, my parents were around when those were in style, and so yeah, they've been around long enough to see them come back around a couple times actually. So
I'm old enough to have worn some bell bottoms.
I really am trying to visualize that.
Well, I was like 11.
All right.
Were they corduroy too?
They sure were.
Yes.
So
I don't even
What a beast.
remember seeing bell bottoms that weren't corduroy, I tell you the truth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have jean ones.
Nice. Now they call it boot cut.
I like no. Well, there's super flares too. You can get super flares and then boot cut and then straight cut or whatever. But I like to go for. I like both extremes. I like to have my flares and I like to have my skinnies also.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on, with the what was it, the corduroy? You could literally, if you were stuck in the wilderness, you could start a fire.
Yeah.
And
I
if
hate
you
corduroys.
rub your legs fucking fast enough, you know, and then have some wood in there and kindling,
Terrible.
boom. That was the ultimate survival.
When I was a kid, the goal was for the bell bottom to completely cover your shoe. Like,
Yes.
that was the shit. You know.
Until it tears up in the back.
Yeah.
what did
Like
the
a pair
kids
of
do? They had really
Jankos.
big feet.
Like a pair of Jankos, and like we thought it was a great idea to jump on a skateboard with a rip-torn pair of pants in the back where your feet land. Yeah.
I actually
Epic.
saw an article that Jankos are coming back because everything was just super skinny. So of course it's
Wet-ass
going to go the
man.
opposite end, and Janko is totally the opposite end.
Hell yeah.
I
it is.
lived through the rave days too. So and skateboarding, you could hide a whole 40 down that pant pocket.
Dude, I put a 12-pack like in the pant leg, a case of beer, like a 12-pack of beer in the pant leg, and fucking like balanced on my foot and just kind of walked out of the store with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even know what a Jayco is.
it's a pair of pants, dude, and the bottoms, or the whole width of the leg of the pant, like
Yeah,
that.
huge
So
one.
picture
You
a
can fit
bell bottom going all the way up with no
You can
bell.
fit two
Beyond
cans of
bag,
spray paint
bro.
in your back pockets, in each back pocket. 2 cans
Easy.
of spray paint.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, that's what I used them for. And they shake
Yep.
as you run.
See, that's why I like cargo pants. You could stuff a few in there, stuff a few in your back pocket. Fucking, that's why I was all about the cargo pants. The Jankos got in the way trying to climb buildings and shit.
Trying to
Yeah,
climb
always
buildings.
I want to get up, yo, man. What the fuck?
God forbid you're walking in the rain in those things. What do they absorb? Like
Oh,
10
oh,
gallons
they
of
were
water?
fucking
All the way up to
horrible,
the
dude.
knee?
Yup.
And then they pull your pants down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they say, yeah, then your pants start falling
Yeah,
down.
you got to wear normal pants under those.
And then back up. I just wore suspenders, you know.
Yes.
Your accent and the word suspenders are great.
I know.
together. Well, suspenders.
Thank you.
You know
Where are
what,
you
guys? We're
Rhode Island.
like 45 minutes into the show here. Nobody's done it yet, so somebody's got to do it. It's called Dab Frog, and everybody do a dab if you got one to do there.
Well, no.
Oh, well.
Dab frog.
Usually that's within like the first 30 seconds of the show. You got
Yeah.
screaming for dabs and stuff like that. So smoke them if you got them, folks.
My
But
rig
I'll
is
tell you
so
what,
embarrassingly
everybody's been
dirty.
interested. Everybody's been interested in not too many people screaming dab. Are you dabbing, Caribou?
I snuck
Yeah,
my
I'll do
dab
one.
in earlier. I'll do
Yeah,
another one, of course.
I hit one earlier, but I'm not as scared to do it again.
Yeah. So Jeff and I did it all professional, like when we knew someone else was going to monologue through it.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll skip the dab, but I'm gonna remind everybody that we have the Puffco giveaway going on for 710. You gotta follow 40 Acres. He probably is in the chat. If not, sorry.
Yeah,
but
he's
on his Instagram, I believe tagged 2 people. If one of you guys remember, or one of you 3 fuckers that I work with remember, please for the love of God, fill me in. But yeah, it's on Instagram. You got to follow him at 40 Acres Grow Smoke Shop, and then tag 2 friends to that, and are entered in for a Puffco, dab machine, or if you're not into that, it's a magical butter machine, if I remember correctly. And if I'm wrong, he'll castrate me later.
I believe he got most of that correct in, but
Did I? All right, cool.
created here at some point in time, just because that's what happens.
I've only done 2 dabs in my entire life. I am not a dab person.
I'll do one for you right now.
I don't enjoy it. And recently, because of my heart attack, I'm not supposed to smoke. So I never thought I would say it, but I've been using these pins with solventless oil in them. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Guy offered Jinx a dab. Jinx came to my town one time. He was at a grow store in my town, allegedly maybe doing some vending, helping us out to get some genetics out to the community. And I offered him a dab very graciously, and he very graciously declined the dab. He was really polite about it. He's like, I've had seizures. I'm afraid of butane. Not going to do that. And I totally respect that, bro. I respect that.
He gave you the finger, man. Don't lie.
He's like, no, take your dabs. Get the fuck
Like,
out
fuck
of here,
yourself.
you dirty hippie.
Take your dab, you dirty.
Something about dirty dreadlocks. I heard it.
I'm right there with Jinx. I don't dab. I have a dab rig in my kitchen. It's sitting there for other people. It hasn't been used in probably 18 months. If I smoke concentrates, it's going to be solventless, and generally it would be water hash.
Yeah.
And I prefer full melt.
Cheers.
If it's not full melt, I prefer to smoke flower because I like the full range of terpenes.
Me too. Me too.
In hashes and concentrates, you lose some of it somewhere. And you don't know, the full range is what's really medicinal to me, in my opinion.
Yep.
If I smoke rosin or dabs, not dabs, but like a hash or something, I actually put a little ball on top of a bong hit.
Yes, me too.
I don't, especially like some bubble hash or some rosin, but like I say, lately my doctors have been asking me not to actually smoke at all. So I'm just doing the little pin thing, which is kind of funny because I've always kind of been a little bit of a hater on these.
Talked a little shit, did you?
Yeah.
I'm worried about those.
Not very.
How do you feel about edibles, man? Since you can't smoke.
I'm not a huge edible person. If I'm going to do edibles, I want to make them because, even if it's from somebody I trust, just because the dosing, with medibles, it's so easy to like eat one. Next thing you know, it's like you did 10 dabs. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not a huge medible guy. Once in a while.
What about like RSO?
I do. I use RSO for my seizures, not so much to get high or anything like that.
I don't.
But yeah, and sometimes it's pure CBD. It's not no THC in it. So
okay, that's what I was curious about. If there was any special formulation that you found for your body that helps with the RSO, whether it be THC, CBD, or CBG, anything like that.
Throw that in there.
Well, for me, like say when I do RSO, I'm definitely not doing it to catch a buzz. It's strictly medical. So it's usually high CBD and very low or no THC. And the stuff is just nasty.
yeah. Don't get it stuck on your tooth.
I remember a couple times taking it out and just kind of like shivering a little bit, like, oh man, here we go. But then I found a local company here, and they provide me all the test results and all that, because I'm also scared of like bug spray, getting from people I don't know or seen their gardens. And he started putting it in capsules for me, which was really nice because, like I say, to squirt that stuff under your if it gets on your teeth or anything like that, it's terrible.
I'm a capsule guy.
I just want to say what's up, Jinx. I'm Irie. What up?
How you doing, brother? Nice to meet you.
The trick is drink some cold water so the teeth get real cold, and then put a little flick, and then boom.
Yeah. Like I said, I got the capsules now, so I'm good. You know what I mean?
Nice, bro. But if you're ever on the run,
that's the way to go.
Water, bro. Throw it on your finger.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since 420, bro, but I'm glad to see you, bro. I'm glad to see you're good.
Thanks, man.
One love.
My apologies. I forgot to do the introduction. This is Irie.
What up? What up, people?
Him and his wife helped me count seeds now. Finally, I have somebody that helps me. I've gotten to the point I just can't do it all myself anymore. So.
What up, Jeff?
What's up, brother?
What
Come
up?
count some of my seeds too, bro. You're always invited.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Dude,
Yeah.
I met you at Indo Expo in Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
what's
respect,
up,
bro. Thanks for coming out.
I started doing mycology now.
Fun.
Yeah, so I've been breeding mycology as well now.
So
That could be
Jill, when you say you're counting seeds, do you mean like how many you got out of a batch or like per vial?
That's the first one, bro.
Well,
Okay.
both.
Because you can
Well,
buy
I
these.
don't count them out of the plant, no.
Each one.
But
Okay.
they have to be cleaned.
I count them out after I've cleaned them and stuff. I count them out of plant, but I got this little thing on Amazon. It's a seed counter.
Yeah, I got
And
one of those.
it works great. Like
Yeah.
mine, I've dumped it through a few times just to make sure it was accurate, and it was on every time.
Okay.
It doesn't work,
That's
bro.
cool.
Now, see,
Oh,
I
mine
have
sure
one.
does.
I've never taken mine
No,
out of the box.
don't-
I've
it
had
doesn't
for over
work.
a year, and I've never taken it out of the box.
Yeah,
Um,
I love it.
well, because
Well, whip it out, girl. Shit.
Irie's back there with the screwdriver taking out the spark plug.
Right.
I
Right.
don't use it.
There's a
I
fuse
don't
in it,
use
bro.
it for inventory as far as like packages and stuff.
Right,
Like,
and
what you
yeah,
do
that's
drop.
Quality, it's quality control.
yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
It can't do the.
Yeah,
It can't do.
Yeah.
couldn't do
It
per
can
pack,
sit there
it
and
was
spin
too
while I'm
long.
over here packaging, and it gives me a good idea of how many I've got left in that jar. You know, I'm like, there are 9,000 seeds in that jar. And after I've been packaging, it just spins the whole time.
There's a formula. I believe it's like every 2 ounces or
By
something
weight.
like that is 1,000 seeds or 100 seeds. I'm sorry, I would have to ask. It was CSI Humboldt told me the calculations.
Different genetics.
and
have
so
different-
so basically, yeah, it's for the average size
Yeah,
seed. Basically, a half of a mason jar would be approximately 15,000 seeds.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting to where I can almost eyeball it. I think that's one of the things we're starting to Jinx, and yourself and I could probably do that by now. Eyeball. That's about 1,000 seeds in there.
Damn.
The average seed customer has no idea like how much actually goes into it after you've grown seeds. You know, from shucking them, getting all the shells off the outside. Because aside from counting them before you count them, you have to separate them. And there's no machine. You know, they have these seed separators, but
I have
they kind of work, but not really. They suck a lot of the weed out and some of the baby seeds, but you still totally have to go through and good, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Which and then then you have to vial it up, and then you have to put that in a baggie, then you have to put that in a package, and there's
And it has to be heat sealed.
Heat seal that
sealed
one.
and,
That's a
you know,
whole nother
bag-
process.
Yeah,
I have
it's
to
a lot,
label my
more than
bag.
people think. You know, if you're making a fair amount of seeds, it's a whole ordeal. So
This
Rose and I will binge watch something while we do it.
That's what I do. Just sometimes I'm on a podcast like this, just packaging seeds, and I'll listen. And when I hear something about breeding or something that I can chime in on, I put them down and talk for a minute, and then I'm like, okay, back to work.
Yeah. It's like if you don't like trimming your plant, try taking the seeds out of your plant.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same. That's my bane, is taking seeds out and packaging seeds. That's my version of trimming. When people are like, I'm in trim jail, I'm like, I'm in fucking packaging jail, bro. But, yeah.
I hate
So-
I
trimming.
don't mind the seeds. Like I grew up in the 90s and thousands. Like I remember back when, I just bought weed with seeds. Like that was just the norm. That's what happened. Like it was super high grade and rare AF to get it without seeds. Like that was your buddy's homegrown exclusively. So to me, it's just kind of like a throwback, and it's almost like therapeutic especially when I get one of my seed runs in and I'm just sitting here picking through it. Just reminds me of being a kid.
Yeah, for about 30 seconds.
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
if you got seed weed, it was like terrible.
Yeah.
It was like some
Yeah, it was. It was
Colombian or
smashed.
some Panama. I mean,
Brick.
just terrible brick weed. Just like
Some brick. Yep.
I remember me and
Came
my
up in the
brother.
brick era.
Need a
and my
hacksaw
brother
to
were
break it
breaking some
apart
up
from the
one time.
bale.
My brother breaking some up one time. We just got sick of it. We rolled a fat joint of just whatever. That thing was like
Pop,
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 pickety, pop.
I had
Freaking
brick weed,
hilarious.
dude. It was so dense. A half ounce was like a cube this big, dude.
Yeah.
Like I looked at it, I'm like, no. And they're like,
Really?
yeah. And I
Yeah.
put it on the scale, and you had to peel it in the fucking sections. Like you had to keep peeling and
That's where you
peeling
went
and
wrong.
peeling.
Does
You're supposed
any?
to put it in water and then it expands.
Oh yeah.
Okay, listen, I was fucking like,
Seen
I was
that
like
at the store.
17, 19. I
I
was
don't
We
know
used to
all
put it in the
that.
freezer.
fucking.
Maybe
The
some
freezer
moisture.
would always fluff it up.
Does
Yeah,
anybody? Does any?
Thanks for
Probably
the
the
fluffer
oldest-
tip there, Rasta.
I'm probably the
I'll bring
oldest
that
guy
with
on
me.
the panel. Does anybody here know or remember chimmers?
Chimmers?
Chimmers.
CHIMMERs?
Yes.
I vaguely remember, dude.
It's what we
I
carried
like
around
that.
in high school. When you say that, they were these teeny little pipes. I mean, it was super skinny, then had a teeny weeny little bowl on it. And it was a
Okay.
chim hit. And it was like, that's what, we like that.
Was it like the keychain one?
It was made for a keychain, but we were in high school, so we didn't carry them on our keychains, but every once in a while you might see somebody had like a extra long chimmer, and that shit was badass. But yeah, you got chim hit. That's how we did it at school. Cause you could be like burning up a big old bowl, and it was real conservative. So when he talking about the little packed ass weeds, like that's what we would have done on it probably.
I remember in high school, we're sitting there, we're about a block up from the high school, smoking dope, a bunch of friends of ours in this little trail. And I see this pair of like nice kind of suitish looking pants starting to come through the trail. And I just like, my first thought is principal, fuck, get ready to run. And it takes another step and you see the high vis yellow stripe down the leg and oh fuck, it's a cop right down there. And then all of a sudden you had, I go down this big hill into the bush. They're not going to find you, no chance in hell. And then you had some idiots run down the street and go straight back to school. I had cops chasing them straight through the school. These guys get caught. I didn't because I was in the bush hiding. It was just cool stories.
I have a question for each of you.
Always love your eating friends.
What?
I have a feeling I know what this is.
What do you know? You don't know anything, Sequence. You don't know me.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll start with you, Jinx. So if you were any animal, what kind of animal would you be?
Oh gosh.
So first of all, that's exactly what I knew he was going to say.
Jill already has an answer
The
for
first
Jinx.
the first thing that popped in my head was a shark, but I think that's just because I've been like really into sharks lately, and I've been watching all these like shark documentaries.
It's Shark Week.
Okay, right on, dude.
But then
Right
again,
on.
I'm like, it'd be pretty cool to fly, So the thing is,
Dude,
like,
There's
I
a
would
lot of
want
animals.
the ultimate being an animal was if you could take your mind with you. Like, I'm not just an animal. Like, I'm Jinxproof in an eagle's body. Like, whoa, check it out,
No
I'm
doubt.
flying.
That would be cool.
Be positive.
Yes.
So, and I was watching this thing the other day, and it was on reincarnation. And this guy was asking this Indian fellow, and he says, it's a highly. He said the same thing. What animal? If you can choose, what are you going to come back as? And he says, well, tell you the truth, it's a highly personal thing that I really don't talk about. And the other guy says, well, for me, I'd go combo, bird, horse, so I can fly. But when I land, I got something for the ladies.
That's so funny.
Bazinga. Nice.
Bazinga.
Combo.
Ross, Jeff, if you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be?
I already told you earlier I identify as a dolphin, but I'm gonna go. Every Rasta man is gonna tell you that they would be a lion. Just a lion, got a heart of a lion. Would be the lion. But second choice would be an elephant because the elephants are pretty big. I'm a big dude. I'm freaking 6'5", but I'm gentle. I'm peaceful. I won't hurt you unless I absolutely fucking have to. And then trust me, I will. But I mean, I don't want to. Elephants are big. They're gentle. They're peaceful, and I think they're pretty intelligent. So I'd start with a lion, and then we'll go with the elephant as my backup choice.
Not Richard Grant's gerbil.
I have a flying elephant tattooed on my stomach.
I've got a Ganesh tattoo on my calf.
Oh, nice.
Big respect.
The video of a hyena eating a dead elephant's asshole, and then the elephant blows.
I've seen that.
It like
He said I seen that.
And the
I gotta YouTube this
Internet.
shit.
Yeah.
It's a huge bubble. It's the
What I'm
it's fucking
Googling
hilarious.
as soon as we're done here.
Yep. Write it down. Okay.
Sequence, you want to screen share that shit?
Last but certainly not least, Miss Jill. If you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be?
I think I would want to be a monkey so I can still smoke my bong hits.
And I've heard of blunt rolling monkeys too, so you can still do that.
I said spider monkey. I mean,
who would you throw poop at first?
Then I still have hands. I can still do things. I can be smarter than the rest of you guys. And,
Ross and Jeff had a good question for you.
If you were a monkey, who would you throw poop at first?
I don't know.
You can say my mom. Everybody does.
Can we just say Crop King Seeds?
Yes, sir.
I was
There you
trying to
go. Thank
segue
you.
you into that, honestly.
Thank you.
Oh yes.
I'm just I'm a little high right now, so that didn't work out. So yes,
Us too.
since we're yeah.
You want to
So
get something off your
for
chest, girl?
you know, I'm a little high, but you know, for I don't know how much you really want for me to go into this, but you know,
I mean, I want to interrupt real quick, and like, let's talk about this subject, but don't even mention these people's names, because you know how
Okay.
many people like on this channel like, well, I've never heard of them, and then they're gonna go check it out. You know what I mean? And you know,
why would anybody want to buy?
Yeah,
Why would
exactly.
anybody want to buy shit that comes in a bucket from another country, and then they take those seeds and put them in different packs? So if you buy Agent Orange, if you buy 9 Pound Hammer, you're getting the same fucking seeds.
yeah. No, I mean,
Well,
I'm
I
just
mean, it
saying
could be
it's
like a
why
bad sex
even
tape.
bad advertisement is advertisement.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
could-
obviously it's your choice, but it's like I said, there's a couple other companies I talk about, but
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
with you.
even mention their names. Ain't worth it. But yeah, Jill and I both went through that whole ordeal, unfortunately, together, and got a little dirty. So
Well, fill us in, Miss Jill.
What's that?
For those of us who have no
Tell
idea
us.
what you're talking about.
Okay, so these people, they have they buy seeds from other countries. They're European or whatever. Anyways, they buy seeds and bring them in from other countries, like buckets full. They'll take whatever random seeds those are and put them into packages with the name Agent Orange on them, or the name Jilly Bean, or the name 9 Pound Hammer, or you know, they've done it to several other breeders, not just Jinx and I. So they're also going to events and they're doing this. And you know, it's shit. It's shit because they're ripping off the customers, because the customers are thinking they're buying something that they're not buying. And I mean, that might be all the money they have. And they're expecting to get medicine, you know, and whatever's wrong that they need the medicine for. And they spend the last of their money on this and they get garbage, you know, and maybe they even buy several different flavors and then end up with all the same thing, you know? And then also, then they get pissed off at the actual breeder. Oh, your strain is shit. Your strain is garbage. I grew it out and it was this, it was that, and it wasn't even that strain. So it's defrauding everyone in the industry except for themselves. You know,
It's
bullshit. We need to avoid those people.
yeah,
And my recommendation for people, if they, you know, are unsure where they're purchasing something from, they can always, you know, make contact and say, hey, you know, is this a legit person? And
Do you have sorry to interrupt. Do you have a list of vendors on your website that can say, hey, this is a legit list of vendors you can actually shop here with confidence?
yeah, yes.
There you go. So if you're looking for My Seeds, Jill's, and Jinx has a really good website, go to our websites and look at the vendors we've got listed before you buy seeds. That way, you know, we're actually doing business with those vendors, because there are people out there saying they've got my stuff, Jill's stuff, Jinx's stuff. If they've got every vendor on the planet and we don't talk about them, they probably don't have every vendor on the planet. It's probably too good to be true. So be careful where you shop, guys. I wasn't trying to start too many fires here, but I wanted to make sure people know that that's happening to people. People are getting the bait and switch, and they're blaming the breeders on shitty plants, and we're not doing it. So make sure you go to our websites, find the vendors that we trust, we recommend, and then some of them will be doing different sales. They'll have different inventory. Maybe their shipping is quicker because of your location. So just go shop around and see what you're looking for. Check out our recommended vendors before you spend your money and get burned by the internet, because the internet is the devil sometimes.
yeah.
Dude, good tip. Good
Another
tip.
thing, just real quick, I don't want to harp on this, but another thing is like taking, say, mine or yours or Jill's seeds and then F2ing them. And it's like, hey, I got 9 Pound Hammer because dude bought a few packs of seeds from me, took it home, F2'd it and dusted it. And now he's selling 9 Pound Hammer in his own label and shit, you know, or to back cross them. You know, it's just, everybody on this
Certain
panel.
breeders that just
you know,
S1 other people's genetics.
Right?
Yeah. It's bullshit. And nobody on this panel is a millionaire. You know, we're all independent small business people that are just, you know, for me, it's a way that this is a great way that I can work and, you know, have the time I need with my special needs son, you know, as opposed to having a 9-to-5 job where I have things I could do that I could make more money, you know what I mean? But, you know, I mean, I used to be a tattooist, $125 an hour, but I would never see my son, you know what I mean? So it's important. It's not just to tell these companies to fuck off, but it's important to ask the community for their support. Like, there's no reason to buy seeds from these fools. None. And there's nobody on this panel wouldn't answer a question or a DM telling you where you can get their stuff. You know what I mean? If we don't have our own site. So, it's just the big guy ripping off the little guy, like always,
Vote, yeah.
So-
Vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
Vote with
right.
your dollars and go to the source.
Well,
I've been in music for a long time, and there's the artist never sees the royalties, basically, with like iTunes and all this stuff. The last time I was trying to buy a buddy's album and I wanted to buy it, I want him to get my $5 or whatever. I had to go to the third page to find where to buy it. Everything else above it was a free download. And these people that do these things with other people's works, I kind of feel the same way about it. It's not right. Sorry.
Ultimately, like listening to everybody talk, and Jinx, I've heard you in interviews, all respect and love, fam. I've pretty much heard all of y'all in interviews at one time or another, at least seen your posts and whatnot. And I think it's the one thing that we collectively as breeders ask people not to do, is to just make an S1 and sell it, or to make an F2 and sell it under the same name.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that we say not to. Other than that, I think all of us collectively go, please make your own medicine and make crosses.
Well, I made Jack the Ripper F2s. I did make Jack the Ripper F2s, but I did it to tribute somebody that I thought was a mentor, a friend, a leader. And as I did it, I didn't just do the Jack the Ripper F2. My purpose was to cross it with some of my elite stuff, my popular library. I just happened to put the Jack the Ripper in there. So I wasn't trying to capitalize on Subby. I was doing it to show love to Subby. That's what that was all about.
Well,
but yeah,
and I'm sorry for interrupting, but you also had a conversation with me about it before you did it.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for the credit for that too.
I personally have no problem with people breeding my stuff. People send me pictures all the time that they bought a pack of 9-pound hammer or what have you, took it home and bred it to one of their strains or some strain they bought, and that's cool, just stash, you know what I mean? Or even the companies that are in business. That's, everybody on here has bred somebody else's strain to their stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But but to just resell it is totally different,
I encourage breeding to my stuff. Honestly, do it. I didn't invent cannabis. I got seeds from Jill and Subcool and Jinxie. I got seeds from everybody, and I grew them and I bred with them. I didn't make up the seed. I didn't fart out any seeds somehow. I got it from somebody.
Dude, that's awesome to hear that, because a lot of people are real leery about doing that kind of thing,
I prefer people don't breed my stuff to my stuff. There used to be a company here, Seattle, Oregon. Their logo was pretty much Subcool's, and their entire menu was like Jack the Ripper times Jilly Bean, Kaboom times, like every strain Sub had crossbred to each other, it's just like, dude, really?
Yeah, that's wrong.
His logo was even, that shit's kind of weird, but
that's just boring to me.
Yeah, that too. It's stupid.
Why would you want to do that? Like, right now, I'm looking through like some Golden Goats and maybe Blueberry Butchers in the near future. Maybe I'll find something there. But I'm not like just looking to turn around and fucking cross that with everything in the Irie catalog that I have. It's like, what else do I got? What do I have that I've actually bred that would be really cool to breed with something from your catalog? That's the big one to me.
Yeah. Or get something from Jinx and something from me and work those two together and make something that's creative. Don't be a cover band, make a new song. Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't just play the same old shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like, I don't really have an opinion. I could go either way on it, but the thing that I always like to see, or it maybe if you guys prefer to see, is if somebody does that, obviously give the credit to where the credit's due.
Yeah.
But you see something different in the offspring. You can't A and B it with your plant and be like, oh yeah, this and that are the same, but maybe a different profile, a different structure, some work basically is kind of what I'm getting at.
And a goal, not just pollen chucking, some sort of intention, a reason.
Well, I appreciate what he said, but on one hand too, like if you bought up, say, a pack of 9-pound hammer and bred it to, something totally different, another company, and didn't give me credit, I don't care. You know what I mean?
But
and that's your right.
You might not care, but in the research,
I'm just saying, like, it's kind
of
for
those people looking for that research,
like
and that lineage
I don't have a problem
search.
with people doing that, you know what I mean? But once you start F2 and a back crossing someone's strain, calling it that name, you're just ripping off their work. I do appreciate it when people give me credit. Don't get me wrong, and I have followers write me letters even asking for permission, which is even cooler.
That's cool.
ultimately, like I say, it's kind of a compliment, and they're not, as long as they're not blatantly ripping you off, So
I like some people get obsessive about the lineage, and if you're not true about the lineage and where everything kind of came from, then that can kind of damage the ability for people to find their exact medications and what they're looking for. That's really my obsessiveness when it comes to, like, if you crossbred it with this genetic and then this genetic, at least I can still follow down the line where those genetics kind of originated from and what's in there more and more, But if you
Sure.
don't do that and you just kind of shortcut it takes away the actual aspect of being able to research if that medication is going to be right for one particular individual.
I appreciate that. I think that my role is kind of, I guess I've chosen this role as I'm sort of a cannabis historian. I'm documenting the evolution of the pioneering of the legal cannabis industry. So I try to be as accurate as possible and have as many details as possible, because they're going to look to us in the future. They're going to say, let's go see what Miss Jill said because she was there when it happened. Let's go see what Rasta Jeff and Jinx were talking about at that event in Denver because they were there when it happened. So I think it's important that we get things right now, because if we fuck up the story now, it's never going to be right in the future. It's going to be so convoluted. It's part of my job as a podcaster and a breeder and being in this position in cannabis. Just I'm right here. I'm in the middle of the cannabis battle. So it's my job to report from the front lines and keep it real.
Great point. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I got a question that I was hoping to maybe ask and hopefully get answered. So I'm basically a hobby level breeder who suddenly met a bunch of people on Cannabis and they're like, oh, you got seeds? I'll try your seeds, right? So you start sending them out to everyone across North America. And just in the last, not even a month, I'm starting to see some harvested. It's like the coolest freaking thing to see your plants growing in another country. But now it's so these basically testers that I'm sending out, right? And so it kind of everything future from now is what I would like to maybe potentially think about putting to market. How do I go about getting my foot in the door that way? Now there is a little bit of attention through Cannabis and stuff through me. What's the next step? How do I get there?
Do you want to be on a big vendor, like on a website like Seeds Here Now, or do you want to just stay small and do it through your own stuff? Do you want to build your own website?
I think I would like to be able to probably have a seed vendor take care of it for me, where I'll have my stuff packaged up, send it to them, and then they just take care of it for me. I just, how day-to-day life gets, and try to just have one more thing on the plate. If I could have that headache off the plate, that would be my.
Some of the really big seed banks, they won't buy your seeds from you. You have to have a seed broker, like Attitude or Choice, like some of the really old school big seed banks. A lot of times they won't buy them from you direct. You actually have to have a seed broker. There's a few guys that have been doing it a lot. Sub definitely worked with some of these guys, and you send them seeds and then they fill orders and send them to the seed banks, which I personally didn't like because I didn't get paid until the orders were sent out. Like I said, I need my money now, but as far as the small ones, you can definitely do it yourself, so.
I just wanted to say goodnight to everyone. I still have some seeds to count. So thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you for having us, and nice to see all of you, and nice to see you, Jinx. Love you, man.
Love you too.
Nice meeting you, Ms. Jill.
Jeff.
Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, Jill.
Joining us.
Later, man.
Good meeting you, bro.
Oh, I even brought out my old TGA. Where is it? My old TGA thing. Still have it. Forgot to show it, but
Oh, you're old school, bro.
Oh, that's right. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some.
yeah, that was my. Let's see. This one was you can see the menu on here. No, it's
cool,
not gonna focus, but
I know exactly what that looks like,
strains.
though. I remember
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I've got some of those on a shelf in the other room.
Yeah, this is like a prize possession of mine. Just that sticker is the Jack's Cleaner 2 was one of the first pro cuts that I had or got from a dispensary in the med system down here. And then I picked up that in seed form and Agent Orange as well back in the day. And I love those strains. They were kind of the more fruit forward, which I liked at the time, and I still actually like today. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, I squirreled that. So rock on.
I wanted to.
See, since he
ahead,
popped
James.
that up real quick, I was just going to show you. This is my favorite TGA collectible. I don't know how good, like you guys can see that.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
yeah.
super cool.
And that was
Wow.
T-shirts from the first School of Dank, 2012.
Nice.
It's funny
I
because
watched-
this thing here, I mean, who doesn't know what that is?
That's
Right?
definitely.
The soul patch and the doobie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Well, I took sub to my buddy who tattoos in California, Rain, he's a badass tattooist, and I bought sub a tattoo, just like a friend thing, you know. And it's that picture, but it's got a baseball hat on backwards because he didn't want the professor hat. So he got a baseball hat backwards that says TJ Genetics on it or something like that. And then it was funny because when he, after he got tattooed, he cleaned it all up. He's like, you know, bro, I always thought that looks kind of like me. I was like, you fucking dipshit. That is you.
That's
It
so
was so
funny.
fucking funny. It was one of those like total classic stoner moments. You know what I mean? It's like, bruh.
So Jinx, how long you been tattooing, man?
I don't tattoo anymore. Once in a great while, I might do something on a friend, but God, I probably started in my mid to late 20s. I'm 53 now, so I did it hard for a while, and then kind of got into glass blowing. And me and my buddy Derange, we opened up a half head shop, tattoo shop.
Cool.
And then through that, I started to meet mass glass blowers. So I really pretty much just went towards the glass after that, and then you know,
You,
so,
you got me by a few years.
yeah. I was in it for a
In,
minute.
in tattooing. I've been tattooing for
Oh, right on.
25 years, but I took a few
wow.
years off.
Right on.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've worked a bunch of little shops, and for a minute, I worked for Vivine Lazonga. Are you
Okay.
familiar with her? Yeah.
In
So,
in
it was
Seattle,
actually, yeah. It's
in
funny
Pike's
because
Place. Wow.
she's famous. You know, she's in that
Yes.
book,
Mhm.
Modern Primitive, and it was
Yeah.
quite. You know, the time nobody had ever worked for her.
Wow.
The earthquake destroyed me and Derange's shop, so she hired us, and we were
Okay.
working for her, which was like a big deal. But man, she's not the
Yeah.
best tattooist. She's like world freaking famous, man. I was like, huh.
Too much of that old school style, man. It's just like
Well, you know, old school style is popular. So I don't mean any disrespect either. You know, back in her day, she was a badass. You know, but tattooing has progressed so much. It was kind of like, huh. Like I said, you know,
Yeah.
she's one of those people. She got a customer. They're customers for life. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
pretty entertaining working for her.
Yeah, that's awesome, man, because that is a pretty world famous person. So you got to have the skills to kind of fit in there too.
Yeah,
that's-
I used to build machines when not tattooing at the tattoo shop with Joel Kennedy, and man, I would constantly have to go over and take her machine out of her hand because, man, more important than tattooing is knowing how to run a machine. And
It didn't sound right to you, right?
Don't. You know,
It was like, oh, there's something wrong with that machine.
It was throwing sparks, and then when
Oh.
she'd stop, the point would stick to the spring. It was
Oh,
welding.
we gotta raise the back up a little bit and lower the front coil here. Like fucking. Let's sand your contacts.
I think it was just that, like, you know, she was just like, huh, you know, she didn't fucking know. They're cheap ass, you know, machines, and it was pretty damn funny. Like,
So were you making your own needles, man?
You know, I did
Were
for
you
a minute.
grouping them?
I
You
did for
grouping
a
them and
minute, but
shit?
what a pain in the ass. Because
That's how I started my apprenticeship, man. I was right from the get go, grouping needles, soldering them, fucking putting the bars, scrubbing them, sterilizing, autoclaving.
Yeah, we had apprentices, and they had to do all that shit. I mean, even including grabbing your lunch. You know, if you want to learn to tattoo.
No, I didn't do any of that. I came in as an artist because
They
I
were
was
never
good.
my apprentices, but the guys I work with, like you're gonna have to fucking earn this. Most of it's not gonna be about, it's about mopping, getting my lunch, and, you know, cleaning up that tattoo I just did, then maybe learn to build a needle. But just like any industry, the tattoo industry came so far, like at a point there was really no need to buy needles because you could buy bomb ass ones totally grouped correctly and all that.
Pre-sterilized in the package,
In a
along
gas
with
package.
disposable tubes, dude. I don't even mess with the autoclave anymore. It's just so easy and light. Oh my god, carrying all that metal and tubes and fucking grips and everything, dude. A bag would get heavy if you were moving around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Joel Kennedy, but I built tattoo machines with him for about 2 years. And in Seattle, he's a big to-do. He unfortunately passed away recently, but he's so it's pretty cool to learn from him because he was just a machine geek. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Probably the only other person I would know is the guy up at Slave to the Needle up on Capitol Hill. I don't know if that
Aaron Bell.
Yes.
Oh no, he's not Slave to the Needle. That's Damon Conklin. But
Okay.
Aaron Bell was super famous, and when I was a kid, he just blew up. He was on the cover of every magazine and stuff, and I went and got a tattoo from him. And it was this old school painting that was kicked out of churches because it symbolized immaculate pregnancy. And it's basically this naked lady, and she's feeding a swan, breastfeeding a swan, and there's all these giant eggs broken in half, and out of them are coming babies. That's why the church hated it. And it was this big to-do, it was this cool software painting. And when dude was doing it, he shaded over her left leg. So this now, so below the knee, this chick didn't have a leg. Like just right freaking over it, man. And,
wow.
I confronted him. He's like, oh, geez, dude. Like, I mean, so I was just like, whatever, and what can I do? I could have demanded my money, or he wanted to try and fix it, but how are you going to put a leg where there's black, especially back then that all this white technique hadn't come out and stuff. So my buddy Rain tattooed over it twice. Luckily it was single needle and soft gray, so he tattooed over it twice with flesh colored ink, and it didn't get rid of it, but it broke it up so
it blurred
much. And like when he would do it, I would have to wait like 3 months. He's like, you ain't coming back when the tattoo's healed because the skin's not healed. You know what I mean? He's like, we're going to wait till it's billion% healed. Then he did it again. I don't know if you know who Rain Partlow is, but he's a bad, look him up on Google. He's a bad mofo, but I don't know how good if you can see that or not, but he covered it up with this tiki man.
Okay.
Oh, nice, dude.
I mean, it is 1000% covered up, which usually you look at a tattoo like, oh, cover up, huh?
Yeah. No, that flesh tone changed it, man. It made things a lot easier to cover up. You just could do a couple rounds of flesh tone over there. So, one more tattoo question, because you've done them. How many times have you put somebody's name across their arm, and when they looked at it in the mirror, they're like, "Oh, yo, it's backwards"?
A few. The main thing with me for names was once he wrote a name down, like we'd make the stencil, and then you have to sign it.
Well, no, I mean, even like they think it's backwards because they're looking at it in the mirror.
I get that. I've seen a little bit, not so much. But
I got it all the time. They're like, hey, man, it's backwards. I'm like, no.
Well, turn your arm up.
No. But, ask your friend. Ask your friend right here.
I would make people sign it in case it was spelled wrong. I know how to spell his name.
Yep, so I did the same thing.
And I did this one dude. I actually knew him, and I can't remember the name. It was a young girl's African American name. So I the name was totally bizarre to me, like, not in a bad way, but whatever. So I made him sign it, and he said he went home and showed it to his wife, and she was like this, it's spelled wrong. Like a quarter of a second. But it was his fault because he wrote his daughter's name down wrong. I even had the original paper, but luckily it was like an I instead of an E. Yeah. And it was in cursive. So I just like flipped the thing over, and then the I was in the wrong spot. So then we'd kind of solid up the E and then put a little flower above it, making it like an I, like the letter I.
Yeah.
It was pretty, like, I'd say 98% saved. It was pretty funny. He's like, dude, my wife didn't even see it. She just knew. Like, it's spelled wrong.
I had a chick that put the wrong dates down for her like grandfather's birth and death, and then came back to me a week later. It was like, this is wrong, and I'm like, okay, I can fix it, but I gotta charge you because I gotta use a brand new needle and everything else. She was kind of mad at me about it, and I was like, yo, man, you wrote this down. I don't know when your grandfather died. No offense.
Yeah.
That's not on me. But let's get back to breeding. I don't want to sidetrack us. Sorry.
I got a question for Rasta, Jeff.
Oh,
Do you remember the first cross you ever made? And how you know?
it wasn't. I never do just 2 plants in a room. I always do a bunch of stuff in a room together. I was playing with a strawberry diesel from Holy Smoke Seeds, and I made a bunch of crosses with the strawberry diesel and the Ghost Train Haze. And I sent a bunch of those to a few friends. And back in the day, I trusted people too much, and I didn't get much reports back from. I probably sent them out to 20 people. I probably got 5 people to respond, but yeah, those are pretty fire. Then I bred with a lemon Kush that I got from. I reversed a lemon Kush, and I learned how to do reversals, and bro, those all totally sucked. Everything I crossed that lemon Kush to was terrible. So the strawberry diesel was a first small breeding project. Then that lemon Kush was like the first thing I really tried to do, and then I went back to doing regular seeds, and then I stumbled across. I reversed the Grateful. I made the Grateful Dog. Was one of the first successful fems I made that really showed me that I knew what I was doing. But yeah, the first one was probably that strawberry diesel from what I can remember from Holy Smoke Seeds.
So here's a little advice for you, Jeff. You mentioned test growers not getting much feedback.
Yeah.
Like for me and Rose, it's kind of a sore spot. Like people write me all the time, want to be a tester. And I'll send you free seeds. All you got to do is grow them, send me pictures, give me a description, any problems, any nanners, I just want.
Yeah.
So, but nobody ever does, like never. So, so now what Rose does is if you do complete your thing, you get 2 free packs of seeds, your choice off the site. But you don't know what you're growing until your obligation is complete. So whatever you got, you'll never know because we got sick of it. Of course, everybody wants free seeds, but so kind of holds people responsible when they actually get back to your ass. They want those 2 packs of seeds, and if you don't, like say, I sent you an email, you agreed to it. Deal's a deal. So but yeah.
I'll hit you up in a few runs.
Yeah, a few runs. Yeah. After I've passed out clones to all my friends and F2'd it.
No, I just got to. People have given me stuff, and not to be that dick, I have to do this seeds this run. So let me get through then that I just got, so I'm not pulling what you're bitching about, and then I'll hit you up and try yours, and I'll keep you posted, man. I'm always keeping shit posted.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's
we don't want our
seeds.
seeds.
They have to plant them all, and now. Don't write me in 8 months. Hey, I just dropped 2 of them.
No,
dude.
2 of them. That's not a test.
Oh man, I could release a book of stupid, funny letters that would just, that'd be more like a comedy.
Man, let's compile a book, bro. It'll be great.
It would be pretty funny.
Yeah,
I bet that's a pretty pervasive problem for sure.
When you guys go to make a new strain and you go to test it, how many phenos do you test personally, and how many tester seeds do you give out to people to try out?
Well, to me, saying how many phenos do you test personally is a little bit of a contradiction because you don't have any phenos yet. You have a bag full of seeds, so that it's your pheno hunt, and so it goes like that. And depends. I try to do at least 10. But then I give out quite a few packs. And like I said, I expect them also to plant them all. And that would be part of that obligation we were talking about is, list me some phenos, and what'd you get out of this? What'd you get out of that? Did you get a fat one? Did you get a short one? Did you get a fruity one? Did you get a cookie one? Blah, blah, blah. So like I said, there's not the pheno hunt, that's when the pheno hunt happens. In the second round would be when you really start choosing phenos,
Yeah. Keepers for next rounds and breeding and keepers and F2s and fems,
stuff like that.
Is that how you do it?
If I've got a commercial grow, I like to do 100 in a commercial grow. I'm not working with any commercial grows right now. COVID kind of slowed a lot of that stuff down. So no commercial grow. I've got the Colorado rules. I'm allowed 12 plants. So I will pop 6 of them and test 6 of those, right? Because those are the rules here in Colorado. But I do mail out so many testers. I give out tons of testers depending on the size. When I make a new cross, I don't make big plants. You can breed, you guys, you don't need giant plants for breeding. A little secret, you can breed plants that are this tall and make plenty of seeds for you and your friends to play with. You can get 50 seeds from a plant bred in a solo cup. Don't tell anybody that because we don't need everybody making that many seeds. But you can get 50 seeds from a solo cup. And if 50 seeds doesn't last you a year, then you're doing something wrong. Like you can have fun with those 50 seeds. So if it's a small plant, I'll send out 40 of them and keep 10 for myself. But if it's a big plant, Then I'll send out maybe 1,000. If I got 5,000 seeds, I'll send out 1,000 of them. And then if it's a good cross, then I've already got 4,000 in stock to sell. Sometimes I send out testers and have to make new shit right away because it was more successful than I had anticipated. That's why you see things go out in testing and then it doesn't get released as soon as you would hope, because I just have to make more.
And testing is not a fast thing. It takes
Yeah.
a minute. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a couple of the big companies taking down, like bringing down this strain, everybody's frothing at the mouth for it, and then it's like, so you took it down 2 weeks ago and now it's in packages ready to sell. Like, you know, like that's impossible. You know, you can't test grow a strain in 2 weeks.
You did a germ test, but that's about it.
Yeah, so yeah.
They sprouted,
You know?
let's sell them. And then those companies though, Jinx, they don't last. You see seed companies come and go on Instagram.
Some do, some don't. You know, I'm not
You're
gonna
very right.
I'm not gonna bash anybody, but yeah, I've seen it happen to a few of the big ones, and I was just like, huh, you know, but you know, whatever, do your thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Hype, yeah, anything you want to add to that as being a breeder? Do you agree with him? Like, you got your own style?
100% with them. That's why I ain't saying a word. Just nope, I'm in agreement. So you just hear me saying, yep, check that box, check that box. I've got this round that's coming down and they're not for sale until I have grows out of the folks that I'm sending them to. Many of them will be featured on the show throughout the grow, so watch here for testing.
I keep my testing really transparent. I encourage my testers to post on social media with the name and what any details they want, so you can see what I'm testing right now. So if it is shit, you know I'm not going to release it. You'll see, hey, I got a bunch of mutant plants, and I'll say, hey, that one's never going to market, but I got free seeds if you want them. You know, just give those away or flush them down the toilet or something.
Actually, that works really well too, because the build up for the Blueberry Butcher and the Jack the Ripper F2s was awesome. I was one of the people waiting for seeds here now to put them on sale, just because I had to have it. I seen what guys like Adam are putting out there. It's like, for one time in my life, I was gonna be one of the cool kids on the block, I guess, and like just you see it growing. Here it is, and you want it. Like,
it works well. Keep that testing transparent. Yep. If I can grow it, go ahead. I was going to cut somebody off. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask a question. I was going to ask the breeders here, sort of what traits do you look for in plants when you're selecting them for your crosses and those sorts of things? Are you looking for vigor or smell or, you know, all of those sorts of things? What stands out the most to each of you?
Go ahead, Jinx. Oh, sorry.
I would definitely vigor, definitely smell, how tough they are. It kind of, sometimes it depends what strain it came from, you know, because then I might be searching for a certain pheno or something like that, you know. So it's always kind of a little different, tell you the truth. Sometimes it's just the way the plant looks. Like if I'm going through some gooseberry seeds, like, you know, I want the ones with the big, short, fat ass leaves, you know what I mean? Even if this one smells better, there's a good chance, because but that's knowing the strain too, because I know what that strain will do, and, you know, how tough it is, and, you know. So I personally, I like plants that are easy to grow, you know. So,
yeah, especially being somebody putting seeds out for market. That's helpful.
Yeah. But, you know, it does happen. I always put it like, you know, two pretty people can have an ugly baby, you know. And it sucks when it happens. You know, I have done a strain I threw away. You know, it was a big ass bag of seeds. It's like, you know, there's fucking, you know, 9 months or more work, because I mean, like, most people don't realize, you guys probably, like, when you grow seeds, they don't finish up in 8 weeks. Like, you know, I take my seeds like forever. You know, if you saw my plant before I took the seeds out of it, you would be like, what the fuck is he drinking? You know, because, like, I mean, they're dead on the vine almost, you know, as far as I can go without them dead, like, you know, to a problem like mold or something. But it takes a long time to get them puppies finished. So it's, you know, and so it's pretty painful, because then you have to test grow them, which is another 3 months minimum if you planted them that day, you know, so 3 to 6 months. And take a bag of seeds like that and just chuck them is it's pretty painful. So I did it once, and I was open about it online. I chucked them all. The boys from Mendo Dope hit me up. We're good friends, and hit me up for a few packs. And they'd seen all the hype, and they didn't care, because I think it was the white rhino one or something like that. And they just love it and couldn't find it. Like, we'll take it. We don't care. We'll search. We'll find the one. Okay, as long as you're 100%, understand, like, I'm throwing this shit away because it hermed out. You know what I mean? So, like, so any two plants, cannot line up, even though you might have thought they were. So it's part of the game, though. And, whatever. So.
Can I? Chad's screaming for a dab bell. I mean, we haven't done one, I don't think. So
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I don't mean to interrupt. So
I'll hit my
getting screamed at over here.
Yeah. I'm a flower, 99% flower, 1% on that pen, because the pen is actually where I could get my highest concentration of CBD.
Well,
yeah,
that means
like
you're
that,
talking while I'm dabbing.
Yeah, for me, I can't. Like, say, I recently had a heart attack, so I'm not supposed to smoke anything. Period. My doctor probably wouldn't be too stoked to see this. You know what I mean? But
right.
Like I said, I'm not an edibles guy, so.
Yeah, it's something. Back to the kind of the testing you two were talking about, and just like the transparency that I think we all appreciate. When you have that big picture or long-term goal, I think people appreciate to see kind of the fuck ups or the throwaways sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because it does happen.
Well, it keeps it real too. Yeah, any two badass, toughest, most stable strains in the world don't necessarily mean they're going to meet up in bed. Like the chemistry wasn't right, and so
they're just too overpowering. They just fight for dominance in the cross.
Who just knows? Yeah, it could be a billion things. So, but the good part is having enough integrity to do it, and it is good to show people, because aside from promoting yourself as having integrity, hopefully you're encouraging some of the younger crowd, to be the same way.
Yeah, I always say not everything's Instagram perfect, because it's not.
Dude, I didn't even know what Instagram was. I literally handed my phone to my 15-year-old employee. Was like, put that to my thing, and what the hell is it called? And then I was like a caveman, like, whoa.
I don't have it. Don't feel bad, man. I don't have it.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I only got on it about 3 or 4 months ago because of the show I'm doing. That's really the only way to connect to everybody. Nobody. Well, I'm an email guy.
It can be productive. It's just like anything. It's how you get it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're an influencer now, Jinxproof.
I hate. My buddy always says you're famous, and I hate. He says it on purpose because I freaking hate it. Like, influencer famous. Like, don't say that. But
sounds like my dad.
Like I say, the other flip side is 85% of the kids I've helped through our autism charity came from Instagram. Like, somebody wrote me like, hey, man, my brother has an autistic kid that doesn't speak, and I see or heard what you're doing, or, stuff like that. So, it's a mighty powerful stage to stand on. You can flip everybody off, or you can open your arms, or somewhere in the middle, so it can be a pretty awesome, powerful tool too. We used to raise money for autistic kids when I was just a glassblower, not a known breeder, becoming a breeder. And we would always hit up businesses. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Like, even head shops, or, it was before they had co-ops, and, the hours you put in trying to help some kids, it wasn't worth it, or now you can make a cool post or auction off some shit, or, we've raised over $160,000. And I'd say, aside from the 2 School of Danks, I think we raised close to 50,000 on those. So most of the rest has been on Instagram, and then we do stuff at the shows where we always, like, giving something away for a donation kind of thing. So, but the only reason people are coming to the show is because of Instagram.
That's amazing, dude.
It's a tool. Yeah, it's a tool, and it's all in how you use it. You can use it for good things, and like Frosted Jeff is a master of it. Like,
thank you. I have an 18-year-old daughter that teaches me stuff, so that's,
I give you guys credit.
Give me some 18-year-old words.
Bullshit mail, the mail that comes from it. I mean, Cannabis.
You can block people. You can restrict people. If you're an asshole on my page, you're blocked. I don't need that shit, because with
no, it isn't even that. It's I could have 1,000 nice people asking me things, and I'll be more than willing to answer them, but it takes up a lot of fucking time. Like, just staying on top of my small little world in Cannabis gets a little tough, and juggling my life and shit like that. I can't imagine what you guys even go through.
Yeah.
I would have thrown my phone. I would have smashed it.
I don't let it get to that point. I post, I check a couple of messages. If I see that Jinxie or Miss Jill or Caribou message me, I'll reply. But a lot of times I have gotten to the point where I understand it's not manageable, and I just let it be its own little thing over there.
Huh.
When I have time, like we all take those off days. Like I really don't feel like doing shit today. I own my own business. I don't really get a weekend. Sometimes it'll just be a random Wednesday, and I'm just like, my brain decided I'm taking the day off. That's the day I sit there and catch up on all that social media stuff and just scroll and click and fucking eat ice cream and be a bum.
Eat ice cream.
One day a month or so.
Actually do it, because like 2 years ago when I was like just starting to play a little bit, I messaged you and you actually got back to me. It was only like a couple weeks too. That was way back in the day.
Yeah, it takes a minute to, and I apologize. There, not to be that guy. I've got over 30,000 Instagram followers, and there's one of me, so it's hard to keep up with that. And I don't mean to be. I understand it's not manageable, and it's gonna be not manageable. I don't let it stress me. I don't let it affect me. It's supposed to be something for entertainment or something like that. It's not something that is. It's not even real. Like if they turned it off, what would happen? We just do
People
something
would call
else.
911. That's
Yeah,
what
they
happened.
would. They would. But
Well, if
after
you're
a
a
couple of
teenage
days,
girl,
Freak
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
yeah,
World
but
would collapse.
maybe. But I would just not have anything to do when I poop. I just have to find something else to do when I'm pooping.
Reading the shampoo bottles again.
Remember those days? The Dr.
Oh,
Bronner's
yes.
bottle. Yeah.
Oh, dude. What? Let me. All right, here we go. All right.
Godliness
What's in
is
here?
next to cleanliness.
What's
I feel
in
so
this?
called out right now.
That's so funny.
Okay. Let me grab the Listerine. What do they got in this? The toothpaste bottle.
Made by
This will be cute.
Lister, huh? Jinxie,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. I call you Jinxie. I don't know why. It just felt natural. I call a grown man Jinxie felt weird. Jinx.
People
I
do.
call a grown man Fluffy.
The only
Okay.
thing I hate is a JP. Like, don't call me JP.
Oh, that sounds weird. All
I
right.
can't stand it. Yeah.
Have you thought of? I've got a method that may speed up your seed crop. Have you heard me talk about running my seeded crops on 18-6 once they're seeded? So I pollinate. I give them 7 to 10 days to let the pregnancy set in, basically, and then I flip my timers back to 18-6. I'm not growing for flowers anymore at this point. I'm growing strictly for seed. I think the more light hours makes bigger, fatter, more successful seeds. The seeds I've been doing with 18-6 are the most successful seed breeding projects I've ever done. I get more seeds, less of the little white seeds, and they're done in probably 2.5 weeks early compared to when I was doing 12-12, because they're just getting that much more light, that much more energy.
Sure.
And what's crazy is my plants go back into veg, and I shoot off a bunch of clones. I can take clones off of my seeded plants and use those as re-veg if I need to.
Yeah, I've never heard of such thing, tell you the truth.
That's
Yeah, it works
cool.
really well. So I can move my seeded plants back into my veg room and use my flower room for whatever I need to at that point, which is really helpful for me.
Yeah.
Or I can put the flower room. Say that again.
Sorry about that. How long do you leave them normally? Like once you pollinate, do you go 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks?
It's about 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks, depending on what strain it is.
I go about 15. I go about 15. Like I said, they're a lot of times I know because I'll go in and there'll be a couple baby plants popping out of the dirt.
Yeah. Yep.
Meaning like it's dropped a couple seeds and watering them, buried them, and they germinated. So like, okay.
It's always a good sign. And they start popping out. If I see the seeds starting to pop out, I know it's time to cut down. I know.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
getting
even
precious.
popped out,
Yeah.
So just depends too on the strain, so.
My favorite way to test. People are always like, how do you know if the seeds are ready? Just grab one, dude. There's a bunch of them. Find a bud in the middle of the plant, pull a seed out and roll it between your fingers. And if it crushes and it's juicy, it's not ready. If it's kind of hard to the squeeze, you got ready seeds.
Yeah.
And then wait a little bit longer. Wait a little longer just because everyone's too impatient.
I don't know if you could wait too long aside from like your plant molding or something, because it's dead,
I found if you go too long, I think they get a little tough. They don't germinate as easily if you go too long. That's the only downside that I've noticed. But you could scuff them up and wet them and they'll pop. But they get a little harder.
Interesting.
I was gonna say, have you been able to run kind of like the same strain A and B next to each other? One that vegged or that flowered in the 18-6, another in 12-12? Do you see any kind of vigor difference or germination difference?
I haven't paid attention to that detail. I haven't made note of that. I haven't been doing the differences long enough, I don't think.
Okay. No, that's interesting. I remember hearing it and wanting to try it, but I was too scared because I didn't. I'm like, well, I don't want to mess up this plant, but I'm going to try it now. I've got,
what week do you switch over? Or what week of bloom?
About 10 days after flower, or after 10 days after pollination. So I pollinate probably around day 23, depending on the plants. 23, 27, put some pollen on there, and then wait about 10 days after that, then flip it to 18.6.
Is your male flipped into flower at the same time as your females?
I put him in a little bit earlier. I put him in earlier
Really?
to get him. Yeah.
Oh.
So he's really
Huh.
pumping out pollen. Yeah. He's
Huh.
really dumping by the time those girls are ready.
Oh,
I want him.
I do the opposite actually. It's
And Subcool taught me to do the opposite, but I keep them separated. They're in different rooms.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
not like
definitely.
I've got early
Yeah.
pollination problems. I can bring him in there and he's just dumping pollen, dude. That
Yeah.
later pollen, the later pollen seems to be better. It seems to be more effective than that early, the pre-pollen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 That preload isn't as effective.
Pre-pollen.
Yeah, pre-pollen.
Right
gotta
now,
wait
I'm trying
for the
out
honey
your method of flipping over into the veg after you pollinate. And I got my next round of playing with the Freak Show strain. A couple of
fun.
crosses with that. I got a few Iries pollinated actually in there
Cool.
just to see what happens, right? And so I go this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, whenever I get there, I'll get to go and see these hanging out what they're doing and see, because it's been about 4 weeks since I've been able to check in on them, and hopefully I'm hoping to have good shoots leading off, because otherwise I'd lose this crop, right? I had to get them out of the situation where they were in and get them to a place where these genetics are just being kept alive, basically. And then I had stuff start blooming that shouldn't be blooming, and I was just like, fuck, you know what? Just throw them in the tent together.
Hey, dude.
This was all going to happen farther down the road anyway, so let's do it now. So let's I'm gonna be interested to see what it looks like when I jump in there.
Yeah,
Someone
it's gonna
wants to
be
say
awesome.
hi to you guys.
Cool.
Hi. Hi,
Hey.
Hi, baby.
Hey, fam.
Hey, fam.
So I got a question for the few breeders that are on here. How do you go about picking your names? Let me start with Hype. Since he's to my right, let me start with Hype, and I'll run down. I'll run through the train of you guys. Don't worry, I can handle you all.
Gonna run through the train.
That's it.
For me, my names generally are inspired by something. I've got my Riot line coming out, coming out to test. Hope they work out. But with those ones, I have an intention off of a certain line of book characters. And I have enough that if they all work out, hooray. But if not, then I have it like narrowed down to who's getting what name. And then after that, I do have another line of book characters. I like plugging the authors.
Cool.
And then otherwise, I do want to kind of crowdsource some names too, and just kind of throw some whack silliness in there. I love the stoner brain.
Nice. How about you, Jinxproof?
Man, that is something that's so funny. Me and Rose go round and round about this because we like this, not the same names. Like she'll be like, I got the best name, and I'll just like, oh no, not him. Then I'll say something thinking it's like so rash, like man. So my least favorite thing is to just take two names and combine them, which I have done. Like I have a strain right now, the hash gooberry. It's gooberry times hash plant, but I like idioms like mother tongue or 9-pound hammer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just random. Like sometimes we'll hear something like, oh, that's a great name for us. We were watching UFC or something, and they're like, no, for the main event. It's like, oh, main event. There we go. Bing. We instantly write it down because we'll forget. And
Yeah.
I have a few they're really hard to find, but limited editions. They're all named after Norton motorcycles. One's called Norton, one's called the Manx. So it's just it just kind of comes out of it sucks when you have to think of a name. Like we just finished the strain, we need a fucking name or we can't release it.
Coming out with the Royal Enfield.
That makes it hard when compared. Like say a lot of times we'll just be watching TV or just see something. Like I saw something that said that lady's a vixen or something like that, and I was like, "Ooh, vixen! That's a great name."
So you're almost Kaiser Soze in your names, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
And the first thing we do is we go to Google. Because man, so many times it's like, oh, that might be a seed company you've never heard of that you'll never heard of, but they still, if it's enough that it's online, it's their strain. Yeah. So that's so many times I've like, oh, I've got the best name. Like, damn it.
Jinx is already using it.
Yep.
Jill already stole that name. Damn.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
exactly.
It's pretty tough. So
How about you, Ross and Jeff? How do you do yours?
I'm sure you can tell a lot of my stuff comes from pop culture. I had something I named after the TMNT, which I'm not even going to say what TMNT stands for because I've been so thankful not to get that lawsuit. Grateful Dead songs, reggae stuff. And then I try to use words that are inspirational and positive. A lot of stuff comes from paying homage to the strains I'm working with. I try to do something tongue-in-cheek with the names of the crosses I'm working with. But it just all kind of depends. Pop culture stuff, G.I. Joe. I was a big G.I. Joe nerd. Cartoons, music. I've got some stuff coming out that I think, if I say it right now, I'm dedicated to it. So I think I'm going to name some stuff after some comedic influences. When they come out, you guys will probably know what they are.
You're gonna have like an Adam Padalecki or something like that.
We like a lot of the same comedians, so I'm curious where you're gonna name them.
I'm trying to look and see who's saying that. There we go. Sequence. There's so many faces on the screen. I'm shooting around. It wasn't a Canadian voice. Where do I go?
Wonder what your redheaded strain's going to be named.
Oh, yeah.
Jessica Rabbit.
Well, yeah. I don't know anything. There's no Bill Burr OG if that's what you're hoping for.
I don't know anything.
Just makes you sit around and yell at yourself. I got the Bill Burr OG in here. No.
Yes.
But that's what happens though. You start talking conversation, just like Jinx says, you're having a conversation and the lady comes and she's like, here's your something supreme. And you're like, oh, the Supreme OG. It just something like that will just jingle in your head and you'll say, that's a strain name. Or somebody online, Blueberry Butcher was crowdsourced and that was named by Lovin' in Her Eyes. She gave me that name. I posted, what should I name this? And she said Blueberry Butcher. And we voted on that and it stuck. I love the name. I had a couple other, I wanted to call it Sub-Zero. Name it after Subcool and the Mortal Kombat game, but somebody else out there, like Jinx said, you got to go hit fucking Google and find out somebody else out there already has a Sub-Zero, so I couldn't do that. So it became the Blueberry Butcher, which naming a strain can be the success or failure of a strain as well. If I would have named that Blueberry Water Bottle, it would not have done anything. Blueberry Butcher definitely helped it in the marketplace. And some cool art too. My buddy 710 with the DP in the middle of his name somewhere. He made some really cool artwork that you guys will see pretty soon. I haven't shared it yet.
He's amazing, dude.
Stuff. Yeah, you guys know that guy. He's a really good artist.
He's part of the crew, man. He's cool. Life.
Nice.
Since you said sub, when you mentioned sub and we're talking about names, does anybody here know how he got his name?
Wasn't he in the heating and cooling industry? And Subcool was like a Subcool piece of gear.
His dad was a refrigeration man. I think he got into a little bit, but his dad would pump Freon into the things. And once you get to a certain level, you'd say, okay, we're at subcool.
Nice.
Below cold or whatever. You know,
yeah, that's cool.
I always thought it was a pretty cool name. I didn't even know how he got it. Subcool.
Yeah.
Like,
he always seemed to know his way around the HVAC stuff. He would always, when he'd walk in those rooms, he had that room in California and he would show us like, this is condensation because of this. I need to reverse this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I learned a lot just from that one lesson, Sub. Awesome. Yeah. So much fun culture. That's the stuff we have to keep alive, Jinxie. Those kind of legends right there. Why Sub got his name. So why do we call you Jinxproof?
It actually comes from the tattoo industry. Like when you go into a tattoo shop, they'll have all those designs pre-printed on the wall. Those are called flash. And it's basically like, the real hardcore tattoo person like never gets flash unless it's by like some bad, unless it's some badass artist they super respect. But when I tattooed, I really leaned towards the old school stuff before it was all bubble gum, before you could buy Ed Hardy shirts at the mall and stuff. I really like that. And there's an old traditional tattoo, and it's anything that might ever jinx you. A black cat, the number 13, a horseshoe hung the wrong way, a ladder. It's usually all kind of in this one thing that'll have a ribbon wrapped around it called Jinxproof. I always just thought that was like such a cool word, you know what I mean? I was like,
that's cool.
Obviously we don't all want our real names out here, so I was like,
I'm
gonna go with Jinxproof.
I went hard. I came in at the right time where you could have kind of my name's close enough. I got my real name in there with the little, So
Jeff's real name is Greg.
Yeah, that's it.
He looks like a Joe to me.
My real name is Scotty Real.
Joe Dirt. It's really Joe Dirt.
I'll be Joe Dirt for you, brother.
Scotty all along.
Yeah,
he's one of the most positive people I've ever seen.
Right.
I can't get enough of that movie.
Oh, dude, Life's a Garden. You got to dig it.
I like when he's about to get in a fight, and he said, "Why don't you go practice falling down? I'll be there in a minute."
Yeah.
Is this queer? Is this queer?
It's a space peanut. Nope.
Yeah. We go flying hunk of poopy. Yeah. One of the best movies ever.
It's been a couple years since I've seen that. I need to
I
find
know.
if it's on Netflix tonight,
I
though.
was just thinking I need to revisit.
Well, it's like Ace
and
Ventura, Pet
he-
Detective, man. The first
and he
one
drives
was
a Mopar.
No, When Nature Calls, that one, the second one.
dude. The first one, I don't know. It's got a special place in my heart. It was one of the first times I dropped acid, and I couldn't stop laughing at the intro of him kicking the fucking FedEx box and then delivering it because I was handling I was a package handler, and yeah,
Yeah, we bet you were.
it was fucking surreal, man. Like,
I can actually still remember the first time I saw that movie and like damn near pissing myself laughing. I think I was in like grade 6 or something like that when that happened.
see, I felt the same about Robin Hood Men in Tights. I thought that shit was freaking tears, dude.
We had a video with Dazed and Confused, Happy Gilmore, and one other one. I can't remember the other one, but we ate too much acid one night and just watched that back to back. We just rewound it and watched it again, rewind it and watch it again. Because I don't know what's going to happen if we stop watching this. Like we were, that was a good night. Yep. Shout out to that
J
guy.
Dilla Donuts on repeat for an entire night
Everything
on
said
acid one
going
time.
forward is hypothetical.
Good
I
album.
might have in the past allegedly have come into like, I don't know, like a quarter sheet of acid. And being dumb, I went for a walk in the state of Florida. I just kind of tucked it in my sock and went for a walk. And if you know anything about Florida, it's always hot. It's always humid. Your pores are always open.
Sweated right in.
So by the time I got done with this walk, the trees were moving by themselves and breathing and talking. We were all having a good old time by the time I even got back to the house.
Hope you weren't busy for a week.
It was about 2 days.
Okay.
Wow.
It was a great 2 days, but yeah, it was 2 days.
I had a
I was about
similar experience
15 or
with
16.
made acid.
First time I ever dropped, I went for a walk with my friends from high school in the pouring rain. And man, it was a trip. I mean, every raindrop was a disco ball. I mean, it was just like, and plus I'd never done it before. So I was just like, man, it was.
Did you feel like you weren't getting wet? Because every time I tripped in the rain, I felt like I was never getting wet.
I remember being soaked because it was rain, but I really just didn't care. I wasn't like cold. It wasn't like, oh, you're like miserable from wet clothes. I just didn't care. And then we had to cross this super busy street. And it's like you have to walk up this little bridge, across the bridge, and then back down. Oh, man. I'd say I was like 15 or something. It's like, holy moly. I remember I looked over the edge for a second. I was like, whoa. Because like my head felt like it was made out of lead, like it was going to pull me off the bridge down to the road. Like, oh, fuck that.
We used to allegedly climb buildings and shit so we could get our names up there during those times. So, I mean, climbing, leaping, jumping, that was just what we did, you know. It was always high intensity, running around. We sometimes allegedly try to get the police to chase us because we knew the alleyways and we could hop shit way faster than they could. But yeah, that's how I spent my time doing it.
Yeah, I was a different generation. When I was a kid, people didn't like spray paint and tag their names and stuff. It was always like your favorite band, you know, like Venom or Slayer, like, you know, like not like the Scorpions or something, like your favorite, you know, like hardcore or what, you know, punk rock maybe. That was the big fat Sharpies, you know.
I'm up there painting fish with the big fucking peace sign.
Actually, one of the more rad tags I saw, I was up towards Stevens Pass. We're out hiking up there like a couple miles, and people have done this where you can like take moss or like moss starch. It's like a paste, and then you paint the paste, and then the moss will grow right onto it. And people on these huge boulders, they had all these like cool pictures. It was non-destructive. It was pretty cool to see like out there in the middle of the woods to have something like that.
We used to have a head shop called the Dank Tank. It was right on Highway 99, pretty busy street. And we moved because they're tearing the building down. So we were doing other things by then anyways. And the Dank Tank was like, you know, right here, then a little parking lot, and then a wood fence. And the wood fence is actually a private cemetery, but it's this real tall fence and a big like metal fence behind it. And after the dank tank was torn down, I was driving by one day and somebody painted on the big wood fence, dank tank lives. And like don't paint on my building, bro. You know what I mean? Like you're tripping. Like, you know, I don't, you know, and I don't want other people's stuff vandalized either. You know what I mean? Because like say I've owned businesses and that sucks. But I gotta say, when I looked over and saw that, I was like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
like that's awesome.
The good code of the streets though is you don't do it on private property and all of that. So, but you know,
Yeah.
not everybody
Yeah.
follows. Not everybody
No,
follows.
I wasn't like that, you know. Like I was hitting areas that were broken down and shit like that, but like some of those areas weren't very easily accessed, you know.
Seattle's not like that. In the street I'm talking about, like I say, there's a methadone clinic. A little farther up, there's a bunch of hookers. I mean, it's kind of it's a little
Sounds like
a little
home.
bit it's a little bit of a rough street.
That's where I grew up.
But they paint on everything. You know what I mean?
I know those
like,
hookers.
Sometimes it's like, really, bro? Like you just painted your stupid name on that independent business, you know? But one
Yeah.
thing I was stoked is between our store, there was like 3 sheets of plywood and then a pawn shop, because it was just like a vacant lot there. Like probably was something there once upon a time. So Sarge from Tiki Tattoo came down, and we were like, fuck it, who cares? We painted a giant autism awareness with the puzzle pieces and stuff, like right there on Highway 99. And the one thing I was so stoked about was nobody ever tagged it. Like not even with a little pin. I was like, man, I'm gonna come walking around that corner. There's gonna be some fucking kid there with a spray can, and you know, my son's autistic, so I'm gonna take it personal, probably end up kicking him in the jar. But the entire time it never happened. And you know, like word up to all those kids that I'm sure were tempted. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
no, actually, the thing is that if you can notice like a legal wall when you see one, and then one that was like given permission to be on it, and if it's like that, nobody's ever touched it. You know, there was one in the middle of the ghetto. It was a legal wall. It was done by some very well-known artists in my area, but besides that, like nobody touched this wall because it was a legal wall. You know, like.
And if it's a badass, then why would you? You know,
You don't take over. You don't take over those walls because they had the time and the ability to put some amazing fucking work up there, as opposed to having to bomb it or whatever. You know, you don't fuck with those. Like that makes us look good. You know, we have a talent. We're not just vandalizers.
Anything that adds, you know, kind of just like happiness or joy or a spark of imagination, those are the things that I like to see out there, and those are the things I support. And it's good to see cities getting behind these types of programs where they do give artists walls and they let them paint something that improves the neighborhood. And yeah, I allegedly may or hypothetically have done some of those, because again, like the town that I moved to, it's a really small town, and there were a couple stupid fucking like name tags. I always call them pissing. It's like, if I could piss it in the snow, I'm not impressed. So yeah, I did a couple cover up jobs, and they're still there years later. The town's like cool with it, because again, I added value and like beauty is what I want to say to the area. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, when like you're kind of in a not so cleaned up neighborhood, and like you see this beautiful piece that kind of adds to, you know, takes away from its normal look, it totally helps. You know, it gives a little ray of sunshine in an area where it doesn't usually have that opportunity.
Just a smile can make a big difference in a day. But back to breeding.
Yeah, I had a question for the breeders. How do you guys select males, since you can't smoke them and get, you know, kind of effects that way? What do you do? Since I know most of you guys, I think all of you guys have an affinity for regular seeds over feminized seeds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I cheat first here? Actually, I do entirely feminized right now. I have a plan to do regular, but right now I do entirely feminized. So I'll grow it 4, 5, 6 times, kind of get a feel for which pheno I want, so I can watch for it while it grows, and then I reverse that one. So I've actually already kind of smoked it generally.
Yeah, that one's definitely a lot easier.
Somewhat, except for that I have to entirely base it on how it grows and watch the structure of the plant. And then I only get about 28 days to do that before I need to pick which branch I'm reversing. because the other one is that I don't bother reversing an entire plant. One, I use colloidal silver, so spraying that thing twice a day, I'd rather do one branch than the whole plant. And I can also watch the structure of the rest of the bud and make sure that, yep, this is the one that I wanted. So I can kind of check myself as it grows. And then that bit of pollen will give me one branch of pollen. All the other breeds will tell you that's plenty to do 2 tenths worth of plants.
Sure. Sounds good. How do you guys select males?
For me personally, it depends on when he shows his sex.
Yeah.
I know for sure it's a male, and like what day compared to maybe some of the other ones. And then from there, obviously I want a hardy, nice structure, stable looking plant. But for me, it's all about that stem rub too. Like a lot of males might smell like hay or like hemp. You know what I mean? Where I want one that smells like some cannabis, and if you can get a male that smells that good, so it can take a few, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Popping all kind of seeds just to get that one you want, but you got to put your name on it, so it's worth the time. So
That's it.
that's the two main things for me.
I go for the stem rub as well, but when I'm going for a stem rub, I kind of like a male that smells like puke. I know that sounds disgusting, but I know that translates later on into goodness. A boy that smells like bar trash can and vomit and just putrid, gross, disgusting smells, that comes out really good in the future. If it smells sweet in the beginning, I don't like the way it comes out. It doesn't come out sweet later. You've already lost that, is what I noticed. So I like a good structure. It's all about the goal. Am I trying to make a tall, stretchy plant that's got that tall bud and that head buzz, or am I trying to make a short, squatty plant with big leaves? The male's going to have a lot to do with that structure and the performance. So Jinx touched on something really important. I think we both might have learned this from the same old weird guy. I don't like the male plants that show that they're male real early. I feel like they dominate the mix too much. I like a male so if I've got 10 males, I'd probably take the 5th one to show me that it was a male and to start dumping pollen. That one's going to be a good breeder. The laters are going to not be enough in the mix, and the earlier plants are going to be too much of the mix. So basically you're putting too much chocolate in there, and everything's going to taste like chocolate. All your crosses, if you cross it to orange, strawberry, blueberry, it's all still going to be chocolate. If I pick that 5th male, I get blueberry and chocolate, and strawberries dipped in chocolate, and oranges coated in chocolate. So that mid kind of flowering male is more preferable, in my opinion. I think Joe kind of touched on the same thing. We don't want the male to dominate that cross, to let the ladies do their thing. So that matters a lot to me. And then I like the male to come from a line that I know has resistance to mold and mildew and pests, because I'm around commercial grows. I get to see plants get riddled with spider mites. And then you walk through the grow and there's always one section, like, why aren't the mites here? And you check that whole section, it's always one plant in a grow. Those are the plants that come home with me and end up getting bred to. So I find those plants that are resistant to bugs, resistant to mildew, and that makes it easy for the customers. Once you guys get them out there, it's already been selected. You're set up to have easy stuff. It's going to run for you real well. So picking a male there's a lot to it, but visually, that puke smell, trichomes. If it puts out trichomes, breed with that dude. If he puts out purples in flower, breed with that dude. And also, breeding is, I say, learn about Mendel charts and allele charts, learn about genetics, learn about plant structure. Then when it comes to breeding, forget all that shit and look at 2 plants. And it's like when people walk in the room, you may have a friend named Jack, and when Jack hangs out, a bunch of ladies walk by, and you guys are like, cool ladies. But then when this girl Sarah comes by, you go, Jack, look at Sarah. Oh my God, you guys are going to hit it off. And you just know. And then Jack and Sarah hook up and they got kids down the line and they're fucking happy. I see that shit in plants. I just think I'm like the plant matchmaker. I can just kind of intuitively see, like, man, I should hook those 2 up. They're going to have a good life together. And most of the time I'm right. I'm pretty intuitive at this point. The only way to find out if you're right, though, is to grow it out. I'll let somebody else talk. I've been going for a while.
He's the Tinder of cannabis.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
I will take that.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one's good. Swipe right. Nope. Left.
That's
Left.
it.
Left.
That's
The 5th
it.
one. Right.
Then you got to grow all that shit, though. The only true way to test out a male is to hit a bunch of females with him and see if what comes out after that is worth a shit. That's the only way to find it out.
Oh, so that one gets
You'll
poured
notice
out.
Yeah, he's just he's the bukkake master. But
He's
you'll
a
notice
stud.
that most of the breeders on the panel today, we've all got a selected male that we're known for, that one stud. We heard about Jack, what was he called? Space Dude for a little bit. And then Jinx has his male. And you guys know about my King Solomon that I breed to everything with. Like we just kind of pick a male. It takes a long time to find him. My Solomon came from somewhere between 300 and 500 seeds. I would grow 10 or 12 at a time, pull all the females immediately. You guys are searching, you do the opposite. You know what I mean? I was just yanking the females out of the room, let the boys flower. And then, is that the one? That's not the dude I'm looking for. And then finally I found the exact guy I was looking for in that batch. And he proved to be successful just from visual observation. I found him.
He stem rubbed to climax.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Gave him a little tug and the pollen came out.
Yeah.
Did,
And that's
did he call
Oh,
him the
boy.
next day?
everything.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, everything I would say has been said and kind of touched on too is have that one plant that you're very, very familiar with, that you've grown for years. So when you do hit it to something, you're seeing kind of what it's going for, what it's passing on. And that's just familiarity is a hard word to say.
It is.
But
It is.
aside from the stem rub, because I'm kind of usually I'll have 2 or 3 males to pick from. I don't have the ability to run big numbers, certainly not as much as I would like to. So it's almost kind of like a beggars can't be choosers situation. I work with a line that I like. I try to look for as stable, which usually means older lines as possible. Just again, I don't want too many variables. It's real basic. I'm so the male, obviously the stem rub, yes, but structure is really important to me. Being like kind of a lot of tent growers, I can't have something that's super big. So
Yeah.
I need a tight structure. I really look for that in my male. If I take that male to a female that I'm very familiar with and all of a sudden it's shorter, then I'm like, I like this male. This male has potential. So that kind of helps me. And like Ross and Jeff was saying, yeah, run them.
Yeah, run them. And you know your clientele. That's really important as well. You know that they're going in a tent most likely. So that helps you out. Makes you design your product for your clientele. That really helps.
Yeah, it's comparatively very, very, very small scale. I typically, we were talking names earlier. I don't do anything commercially. I'm just kind of helping people out and giving them away. So usually when it comes to names, it's named the cross and how far it's been worked. So that's
perfect.
pretty much what it is.
It's historically easy to follow there.
Yeah, because we were talking medicine earlier, and that for me is my biggest goal. That's something I actually was inspired and pulled from the early TGA, is just the work there, working with specific people with specific needs, trying to find that. I have my own specific needs, and that's what started the pursuit. That's kind of, why I started making some seeds. One is just to ensure myself seed stock for the future. I knew medical was going away. But also to try to find that bomb strain for me. And like, I haven't been in the rush to put seeds out or to do anything like that. Cause again, there's a lot of stuff that's out there and that's available. You just got to come correct with something that's unique. You can't, I don't want to put out a bunch of just I don't know. I want to be unique, like Prince or Eminem. People are like, oh, this guy sounds like Eminem, but not many people say like Eminem sounds like this. So
all right.
If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
I've got a question for
Yeah.
Jason. Earlier you're talking about how you deal with seizures, and I believe you said you breed with CBD a bit. Both of these things in recent months have become very near to my heart. Someone I believe I witnessed with someone very close to me had what I may have been a grand mal seizure, and she's right now in stages of testing to find out exactly what this is. And is a guy I've got a bit of Charlotte's Web and a few other CBD strains in my stable. And so now it's kind of knowing a bit of backstory behind Charlotte's Web and seizures and whatnot. It's like, now I've got a fire lit under my ass in the next couple of weeks. Can you offer any breeding tips for dealing with CBDs and stuff like that? Because this is something to me, it's not just like you're breeding for THC where you're looking for potency. A lot of the times you can look at a plant and you gauge by looking at all the trichomes and stuff on it, or the smell that, this one's going to be really killer. But for now I'm looking for CBD and something else, and I can't look at that and no, right? It'll be crystally as hell, but there's very little THC all of a sudden in that. And I've got my own strain called Spider Girl that have started working, which is Charlotte's Web crossed with a Violator by Chemdog Afghani that I was playing around with. And I just, what's next, I guess, is that a rambly ass way of what I'm getting at.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I've never bred like a high CBD strain. I've bred strain like a an exclusive CBD strain. I've definitely had a few strains that were high in CBD. One I've actually bred for the 22 mini program just for them to give to veterans and stuff like that, and it was ACDC, which I got some cuts from somebody I definitely trust and know that it was legit. So if you can, I mean, if your main goal is CBD, then if you can, you want to breed a stable CBD to a stable CBD, like a male and a female, which most people are doing, male of something chronic and then a female of something CBD and getting the cross, like a potent strain that still has decent CBD numbers in it. So it kind of depends on the person, what they're looking for, because some people don't want to get high. They strictly 100% do not want to get high. Yeah. So if it's something like that, then I would suggest a no THC or extremely low THC CBD times a CBD, something like that. So, and for me, CBDs have helped. By no means does it stop me from having seizures. You know what I mean? After, a year of CBDs, I end up having to have brain surgery, which was, pretty scary ordeal. So, it's, I don't know. Some people, you hear these wonderful stories, but everybody's a little different. And it also depends on why she's having seizures, So what part of the brain is being stimulated or, overheated, so to speak. So.
We're still waiting to find out if, in fact, these are seizures for sure, right? It's just, it seems the indicators are pointing to yes.
Well, if she had a grand mal seizure in front of you, you definitely know it.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing was, like, we took her to the hospital immediately afterwards, and also while it was still kind of happening, because this is the first time anything like this had happened. And in the ER, the doctor, and these are ER doctors, we might add, they're saying that she was conscious the whole time. She was looking me in the eyes. Like, this is one of those experiences I will never forget. Her mom was sitting there with her back up against the toilet with her daughter in between her legs, and just fear, and just, I'll never forget that. And so if I could do anything to prevent anyone from ever having to see that.
Yeah, I've stayed awake through seizures, grand mal seizures, okay. And it's like, the only way I could say it's like being on some gnarly drug, like it's just like blurry, crazy. The one time I was having a grand mal seizure, I was leaning forward going like this, and Miss Rose had to hold me back. She doesn't want me to get up, she couldn't figure out what I was doing. And when you have a grand mal seizure, like you salivate so hard, like fill your mouth full of water and slowly let it drip. Like crazy. Like I didn't even know the body could do that. Like mine was like a little waterfall but in front of me was a white t-shirt and I could feel all that fucking spit running down my face. So in my craziness, that's why I was doing this, as I was trying to get that t-shirt to wipe my face. You know what I mean? So you can stay awake through grand mal. I've had it happen twice. Once in the bathroom, I cracked my head on the way down, but I was trying to get to the towel holder to stand up, which luckily I didn't, because you don't want to stand up in the middle of a seizure. But like say if she's had a grand mal, because Rose describes it as like I'm being electrocuted,
Yeah, it's not far.
So, but you got to keep an eye on her too, because people can have what's called a petite seizure, and you might barely even notice. Like I might be talking to you and kind of like start talking again. You're like, what did he just trip out for a second? You know what I mean? And that means I just had like a 1 second seizure or 2 second seizure. And I was after a show one time. It's kind of a stupid story. I was with this dude I've known forever. The show in Oklahoma, like Canacon or something. And then the morning he looks at me, he says, "Hey man, when that waitress came to our table, I leaned over so she couldn't see you." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because a lot of times I don't know what's happened. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, you were drooling all over your food." It's like, you jackass. Like, well, if I was out to dinner with any of you, y'all were drooling on your plate, I'd be like, "Are you okay, bro?" It's like, this dude has known me since I was 20. It's like, have you ever seen me just like drool in my food? It's like,
we gotta hide this guy.
Oh my God. But hey, man, Miss Rose is signaling me from over there. We got a few things Jinxie Jr. got to get to doing, so I'm gonna have to tap out. And but I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's awesome talking to you guys, and hopefully we'll all connect soon, especially in person.
Thanks for joining us, Jinx.
All right, be
Man,
safe.
thank
Peace.
you.
Be positive.
Be well, brother.
Thanks for coming by, Jinx.
Thank you, Jinx.
Absolutely.
Thanks so
Absolutely.
much. It was great to meet you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
That was awesome. That was freaking cool.
Well, what do you guys figure? Is it about time to wrap it up now, or?
On you, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I don't
go
have
to bed.
I don't have much longer in me. I've got some gardening to do as well. So seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it. Anybody got any questions that they'd like to?
Ross and Jeff, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
thanks for having me, guys. This was a
Absolutely.
good time.
Really good.
Yeah.
Good crew here.
We had good
Thank you.
stories from everybody.
Sequence, thanks for the help, man. Chad, thanks for coming on. As always,
Chad.
party on.
Party on, guys.
Yeah.
I need like the auto hang up after that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hard to do with both your hands in the air though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
figure
know,
out
should
how
do
to
that.
do it with your foot up on the keyboard or something like that.
There you
Wait a
go.
minute, Caribou, just kick him at the same time.
yeah, just boot him
Yeah.
out. Shout out to the chat. The chat was killing it tonight. The chat was on fire. I tried to watch, but it was so
It
distracting.
was getting too intense.
Chat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't have it up. But Ross to Jeff, man, thank you for being on here and like coming to hang out and share with everybody your genetics, dude. I'm really blown away by it. I grew some and it was the biggest. It wanted to take over.
Yeah.
It fucking budded up great. It tastes
Perfect.
great. It smells great. And that is what I see across the board from everybody. You know, a lot of folks over at the
Yeah.
DGC, a lot of great examples out there. So, dude, keep doing it, man. And
Excellent,
I look
bro.
forward
Thank
to
you.
I look
I
forward
appreciate
to the
that a
new
lot.
runs.
Oh, I
Right.
promise more stuff's
I
coming
can't
always.
wait to grow one. Man,
We'll
I
get
got
you
the
going, bro.
profit. I got the profit, and I'm pretty excited. So I'm gonna run with that one first.
I can't wait to see what it does for you. Can't wait for the pictures. Fill up my
Yeah.
inbox, bro.
Are you on Cannabis?
I'm on Cannabis. I'm everywhere.
All right, so you're just Ross or Jeff, right?
Irie Genetics.
Irie Genetics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier to find.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted.
Word.
All right. This is a hell of a time. Well, thank you to Ross and Jeff for coming on. It was so
Thank
great
you,
to
bro.
meet you. And getting to do dabs with Ross and Jeff, right? That was a pretty cool thing to do. So it's that was exciting. Ms. Jill and Jinx, they're not here to thank him. An old school chronic, he's left already too. But this is for a pretty small podcast that we have to get these such respected names within the industry to come and just bullshit with us for it's very cool. And just thank you for your time. You said this was, I believe, the third show of the day you've been on. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you came and chilled with us for what, 2.5 hours. So it was just awesome. Thank you.
Thank
so
you, bro.
Putting
Thank
in
you.
work, Jeff.
Thanks for all the support, Caribou. You've been following my show and supporting my show for a long time. So big respect. Thank you. I owed this to you. And I'll be back whenever you guys want me. Let me know.
Okay, yeah, we'd love to get you back for just like a Tuesday night or something like that. Because one of the things is like you're pretty much idolized. Like Chad was just saying, man, you put out some kick-ass genetics and people are right digging them. And there's a lot of we have a big panel usually, and there's a lot of people that really wanted to meet you and Ms. Jill and Jinx, but it's just you can't have everybody on for this show.
Understandable, yeah.
Reasons. So if we get you on, so everybody get a chance to meet you, I know Uncle Rick would probably just shit and brush up on your geography questions for that one too, because they will be.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
On your
Definitely
hand.
know where you are. Okay.
Yeah.
In
Draw a
relation to
map.
your hand.
I am
And
here.
if you got your coordinates, that would be great, or at least what line
Latitude.
you're on. Yeah.
Line.
Reminder,
homework for the show.
profit. Fill up
Coordinates.
Ross to Jeff's box. Have
Yeah.
a good night, everybody.
Pump my box full.
He's gonna fill it.
Pump my box full. I can do that.
Thanks again, guys.
You asked for it and everything.
Party on, Garth.
Party on.
All right, guys. With that, we'll shut her down, and everybody have a great night. Thanks for everybody's support, and as long as you'll be willing to watch it, we'll be willing to keep cranking it out.
Oh yeah.
We'll see everybody Friday night for our usual Friday night shit show where everybody's invited. Ciao.